Part two of LouLou joining us for comps. And we were going to do a commercial, but then he's like, no, we're going to keep it simple. And I said, okay, I agree with that. So we're going to keep it simple and we're going to back to basics. So, LouLou,
Yeah,
take it away, baby.
yeah, yeah, you and I will do that. As soon as we're done with that, you and I, and I believe you said Monica,
Monica.
if Monica's
Mm-hmm.
in here. Yeah, we'll do that one off camera just because it'll get so confusing, right? Like I just wanna show everybody kind of bare basics with this one, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
just enough to where if you're not putting offers out, you can put offers out after today. Okay.
Yes.
Um, right. That's what we need. That's all we
Yes.
need. Yeah,
Yes,
right.
agreed.
Um, so with that being said, has anybody put any offers in this week or in the last 2 weeks? What's going on? Give me some feedback.
Got Heidi. Yeah. Liz, I think. Chris Lund, who's not on the call.
Oh, I gotta find my.
Kate, I saw K-Tan go up.
Yeah, I'm dealing with something. I'll tell you,
Okay.
a crazy, it's a crazy situation.
So what do you got going on?
I have one property. It's one block and lot with three houses on it.
Okay.
One is an old farmhouse that's half falling apart because the additions that somebody put on are falling apart, but the original structure is sound, from what the seller is saying. Um, it's on a lake. Uh, The other two properties are rental properties. One's a split level 4-2, and the other one is a garage with an apartment 2-1 up top. Um, so the guy wants like 700,000, and I'm going, I don't think you're gonna do 700,000. I mean, it's on lake. It's got direct access to it. It's not cleared out. Like there's a lot of work that would have to be done
Mm-hmm.
to even access the lake and get that farmhouse done. The original dwelling done, and that's from 1800. That house that's not renovated yet. The other two are renovated and renting, currently renting.
Okay. So you have so much stuff going on. Good thing about that is you have a ton of stuff you can learn from. Okay. First thing um, is there anybody in here that has plans of flipping houses or does flip houses or wants that to be an exit strategy? Just put your hand up real quick just so I can kind of gauge. All right, so a lot of people. So something that Kate is going through right now is something that you're going to see a lot of. I'm actually dealing with it right now, and I'll kind of elaborate. And this will be our transition into running comparables, right? Is Kate's dealing with something to where Kate, you said you had a property, you had three of them on one lot.
Three homes, one lot. Yep.
Okay, so you had three homes in one lot, and then one of them is they said the foundation is solid, but everything else is falling apart, right?
Yeah, the additions are slanting. They're falling. Yeah.
Okay, so this is something that you guys are going to want to pay a ton of attention to. Is there's so much work you're going to deal with where people don't pull permits or they do work wrong or they just have some contractor who's not licensed or their uncle or their cousin does great work and they just do things willy-nilly, right? They will not be the ones to suffer. Okay. So if
Mhm.
you have somebody that just says, oh, I just want to build a shed, why is the county so worried about me just building the shed, right? Well, you're not going to be the one that's going to suffer from the shed being built. The next person to purchase that property that has to deal with the shoddy shed work is going to be the one
Mhm.
that has to deal with it. Okay. So just a perfect example, Kate, and then we'll go back to that. I'm dealing with a property right now that I put an offer in on. They wanted 199 and I put my offer in at 130. And what I do when I put my offers in, and I'll teach you guys about this. This is probably going to be this week and next week, we're going to nail comps down. And then the following 2 weeks, we're going to nail underwriting down. Okay. So this is more on the underwriting side of things, but this is a great tool to use when you put an offer in, especially if you're going on market, because this is, believe it or not, is a decent time to go on market. I run an off market campaign as well, but I do a ton of stuff on market as well because if you guys check Zillow at all, you'll kind of see what's going on Zillow right now. You see property that you saw 6 months ago that was $300,000.
Mhm.
and right now it's listed on the market for 215, right? So why would you not take advantage of that, right? People
Right.
get scared of closing costs and all. Forget that. If your offer is structured properly, you can win on market, okay? So what I'll do is I'll put my offer in and I'll write what's called a scope of work. All right. You guys probably heard that term before. If
Mhm.
not, basically what it is if you're going to rehabilitate a house, it's just your layout with your timeline, your material costs, the work that's being done, labor, all that stuff. Okay. My last one that I put in, the sellers wanted to, they thought that having an addition was a value add. Okay. They're like, well, I know it says 1,500 square feet on the listing, but it's really 1,800 square feet with the value added in-law suite, right? Problem is the work that was done on it was not permitted. Okay.
Oh,
That's why on the MLS, it doesn't say 1,800 square feet. It says 1,500 because legally they can't put that on there because the work was not permitted, right? So now what I have to do is in the state of Georgia where I'm at, I have to pay a general contractor. I either have to hire a general contractor that's licensed, okay, to pull permits and do the work, or I have to pay for a contractor to pull permits for me, which is about the cheapest one, and I have a phenomenal one. It's going to run you about $5,000 in the state of Georgia to pull permits. Okay, so these sellers who think they're giving me an extra 300 square feet, I actually have to just to start. This is not to rehabilitate that extra 300 square feet, which I got to do floor, I got to do drywall, trim work. If I'm putting a bed and bath in there, right? All that stuff. This is just to pull a permit. Okay. So, Kate, be mindful of that,
hmm.
especially when people try to sell you on this package.
Right.
Okay. Because you got to figure out what your exit strategy is going to be.
Right.
Now, if you can go to the planning and zoning board, can that land be split? Can you do a land lot adjustment and bust that into three separate parcels? Okay. You might have a huge money maker there. All right. Because it might be zoned as one. You might be able to go in there. The one house might be a full tear down, right? If it's a full tear
Right.
down, the land might have some value to it. You can leverage that as far as your offer, right?
Right.
And then you can go in depending on what city planning and zoning says. You can do a land lot, a split. I mean, so once you figure out what your exit strategy is,
Okay.
then you can kind of have to, you can move and groove from there, right?
Okay.
But that's a great example because Kate, you're going to learn so much from this deal. Um, and again, you need to figure out what your exit strategy is, right? Because if you're going to take the whole package, you got to find a very niche buyer, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was
Because
kind of hoping to hold it. It's already making money rental wise on the
so
two,
that's an exit plan.
but it will but
Again,
it will take a lot of work, especially to get down to that lake, you
all
know?
right. Well, that's the thing too is, I wanna teach you guys as much as I possibly can, right? But it seems like a lot of what's going on in this group is wholesaling and flipping. So I
Yeah.
don't want to just start firing like cash on cash return and DCSR loans and all that kind of
Oh
stuff.
no,
You know what
no,
I mean?
no. I
It's
agree. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's it's a
Yeah.
little heavy.
Yeah.
But again, I will either leave you my number when we're done, or you can get it from Christina,
All
and
right.
you and me can work through that, right? Because for me, if a property is already cash flowing, all you got to do is run your numbers where you need them to be to continue the cash flow,
Right.
right? Run PITI, then you got to get somebody in there and inspect that thing. But if that inspection comes back clean, that PITI and all your OPEX and overhead and everything's covered, and you're still getting cash flow, it's like, what do you want, right? Because
Yeah.
because you got to remember too is I'm sure you guys have been. Tammy said, "All right, so pity is an acronym. Okay, Tammy, we'll talk about that. Pity's an acronym. It's an acronym that's more for like overhead and stuff like that. We'll get into all that stuff. I'll touch on all that stuff. Um, toward the end, we'll kind of do some things like that. But what I was going to say was the 50-year mortgages, right? I'm sure everybody in here has heard about these 50-year mortgages and this and that or whatever. Okay, so the thing that's kind of floating around now is toying with the idea of 50-year mortgages, right? So to most retail buyers, okay, it's a hard pill to swallow, right? because we're already there. You go, Christina's got it. It's a hard pill to swallow because most retail buyers are just getting washed right now, right? They put all this money into a down payment or into a property and whatever, and the taxes and insurance, they just keep going like this, right? Every day. You got some people, and I know personally, I know quite a few of them. Their property and insurance, their taxes and insurance are more expensive than their actual mortgage note, right? Insane concept, just crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
So the 50-year mortgage is just, to most of us, we're like, man, this is just another tool for the government to just bury us, right? So they can just run over us and take our property again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Danny, I'll touch on it a little bit, right? But remember, we're investors here, okay? So we don't think like retail buyers, okay? We think like retail buyers on the back end when we're structuring deals, right? But we don't let stuff like that slow us down. And we look at that as, okay, this is a tool for us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because in theory, I was talking about it with my best friend, my partner today. I'm like, well, you know what? Yeah, it is an intimidating concept, but let's look at the numbers, okay? So historically, how long does a family or an individual stay in a single family home or in one place, right? Between 7 and 13 years, okay? So if we look at it from an amortization standpoint, we're not paying off all our principal in 7 to 13 years,
Right.
right? How do we make our money? Appreciation, right? How many people do we know right now that have the luxury of throwing an extra mortgage payment at their mortgage every month, right? Not many. Economy's tough. Life's hard right now for a lot of people, right? So for us, we look at things as tools. We don't get intimidated by stuff like that, okay? Because if you want to use it, use it. If you don't, okay? So why do I say that? Basically, I say that to transition into what we have going on now is you guys need to figure out how to run comps so you don't get paralyzed so you can put offers in, okay?
Yeah.
You can make offers, right? And the hardest part of that is we hear everybody's got an opinion about what the hardest part of getting started is, right? Some people will say, narrowing your list down, right? We got to figure out, are we going after tax delinquencies, tired landlord? Are we going after vacant out of state owners, right? Some people are like, hey, my hardest part is getting on the phone and cold calling, right? Other
Yeah.
people are like, I don't even know what the heck to do. Do I send text messages, right? But then they hear about the text message. They hear about people texting litigators and getting hit with $15,000 fines. And they're like,
Yeah.
whoa, I'm not doing this,
Yeah.
right? They hear about sending mailers out, but you're like, well, historically, a mailing campaign takes 6 months for one property to even get put under contract, right? So we're all over the place, okay? What running comps is going to allow you to do is to be able to analyze a property and be able to decide whether or not it's worth your time, okay? I don't know. My memory's not that great, so you got to bear with me. But I always say comps and underwriting, same corporation, different division. Okay. We ever heard that expression?
Yeah.
All right. Essentially the same thing, but a little different, right? If you're a wholesaler who can underwrite deals, I mean, you're going to be so far ahead of the competition. You're just going to watch your competition in the rear view. Is it necessary to know how to underwrite deals as a wholesaler? No. Okay. If you can run basic comps and have a rough idea of rehab budget with your assignment fee added on there, you can have some success. Okay. Now, am I telling you that that's where the buck should stop? No, absolutely not. Okay. Especially with all the hands that I saw being raised with people that want to rehab and flip properties. Okay. So in a nutshell, what is a comparable, right? What is a comp? It's a comparable. Okay. All we're looking is at market data. All right. So like Christina had a property that she sent me over that was a church. Okay. So we're like, whoa, how do we comp a commercial church? All right. It's a formula. Okay. It's a breakdown. Right. Once we understand the basics of running comps, which we're going to go over nothing but basics today. Okay. And what the goal and the objective is for the end of this today is to be able to look at a property and see if we can find 2 or 3 properties, okay, that we can extract data from. All right. So, and anybody has any questions at any time, stop me. I'll answer every one of them, and we'll just, I'll branch off, and then stop me again, Christina, when I
Lou,
start.
don't
Yeah.
you think that it's also important to know your comps because you also want to know if you have a deal or not, whether it's worth holding or not,
Oh, huge,
whether
huge,
it's worth
absolutely
flipping? Like that would be
huge,
part of what we call due diligence.
huge. So I'll tell you guys right now what my strategy looks like in my business. Okay. So I run an off-market SMS campaign primarily. Okay. So what does that look like? All right. I just got off the phone with a couple of sellers tonight. Basically, we get text blasted to prospective sellers. Okay. And we'll say, hey, whoever's running it for me, hey, do you want to sell your property? Right. 99% of them text back, yes, for $1 million. Right. They have a 1-1 double wide trailer from
Yeah.
1955. Yeah, I want $1 million. Right. And I'm like, let's get you $1 million. Right. That's my job. Okay. So then what we do is we qualify it again. Okay. So how do we qualify that? Is we seek motivate, we find out what the motivation is. Okay. Motivation is really important, right? Because if you're chasing down sellers day and night, that can get frustrating, right? We got families, we got this, we got that, we got hobbies, right? We don't want to be making 200 cold calls a day, right? If you make 200 cold calls a day, listen to me, chances are you're going to get some deals done. All right. If anybody in here is thinking, man, I'm never going to get a deal done, call off work for a week and make 200 phone calls a day. All right. I guarantee there's going to be some progress. Okay. But how do we figure out ways to take our percentages of success from here to here? Okay. And like Christina said, our GGU girls are doing that. I love it. GGU girls, get after it. That's what I'm talking about. So she made a great point, was knowing how to comp. There's so many benefits of it, right? So for me, I get, if I had to guess, probably 30 properties sent to me a week by wholesalers, right? And the problem is you don't want to disqualify any of them, right? But I also don't have time to underwrite 30 deals. You understand what I'm saying? So I need to be able to go in and run comps on a property inside of 5 or 10 minutes to see if this thing even qualifies for me to get my contractors out there to look at the property. Oh, is everybody picking up what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what Christina said is how important comps is to be able to do your due diligence. Okay. And what the caveat, not the caveat, to add to that, okay, is when you're wholesaling and when you're running comps and going over these numbers, right? It's so easy to think and say, man, what's my assignment fee going to look like, right? Am I going to make 20 G's on this deal? Am I going to make 30 G's on this deal? Okay. That's normal human behavior, right? That's self-preservation. Okay. Instead, let's flip it to the other perspective and let's think like a buyer. Okay. If Christina has this deal, would Kate buy it? Would Kate be profitable if she bought this deal? Did Christina underwrite? Did she put in their holding costs in case Kate is gonna pull money from a hard money lender? Right? What is basic explanation? Christina, can you read what Liz said? The messages get cut off from me at the end.
What is basic explanation of difference between comping and underwriting in a
Okay, so
nutshell?
yeah. So Liz, don't think too deep into that. Okay, I say that as a end buyer perspective. Okay, so don't look too deep into that to where it's like I know how to comp, but I don't know how to underwrite, so I'm not going to put a deal in. Don't do that. That's not what I'm trying to get to. The difference for me is what I do with comparables is I qualify properties. Okay. So whether you're wholesaling it, whether you're the end buyer, whether you're going to buy and hold it, whether you're going to throw in a creative offer, that's all I'm doing when I comp this property. Okay. Is like Kate's doing, right? Kate's trying to figure out what cash flow is going to look like. She's going to look at, yep, profit calculator. Yep, exactly right. Kate's going to look at rents in the area, right? That's going to be, so rent comps are going to be a little different than end buyer fix and flip comps, right? Because we're looking at two different, data points, right? So don't look at it, Liz. When I say that, don't look at it as they're two completely separate things, right? Same corporation, different division. Okay. So for me as an end buyer, who my business, I love to fix and flip properties. Okay. I'm listing two on the market this week. Is we look at that and I say, I get 30 properties a week from a wholesaler. I can't underwrite every one of these deals because I can't send my contractors out there and say, hey guys, look, I got 30 properties. I know we're working on finishing this one and get it listed on market, but I got 30 more. Can you guys go in there and give me a whole scope of work? Right. So underwriting to me, for me, is contractor feedback. Okay, let's go walk this thing. So I'll walk it if I have time. Okay, and I'll feel out my touch points. Right. If it's on market, I'll get disclosures. All right, I'll say, hey, what's going on? Is there cracks in the foundation? How old's the roof? All this kind of stuff, like the real good stuff. Now, when yous are wholesaling, okay, especially, is anybody, raise your hand, anybody doing this virtually? Is anybody doing any virtual wholesaling? All right, we got
Mhm.
a lot of virtual wholesaling. Okay, so what are yous doing as far as you qualify seller, okay? And just you don't have to raise your hand, just speak out or write it in a chat or whatever, because I'm curious. Um, what are you doing when you qualify a seller? You talk to a seller. What does that look like as far as, are you getting boots on the ground? Are you doing old school kind of square footage times? I think it used to be what, light rehab was 25. This was during COVID, I think, or a little, light rehab used to be square footage times 25 would give you rough rehab if it didn't have
We
a
have a re-
basement or something.
we have a rehab calculator with one of our programs.
Okay. Okay.
REI Works.
Okay. And then is there any follow up? Is there any, like, are you guys getting boots on the ground? Are you paying people to go out there and look at the properties? Are you putting lock boxes on? How's that working?
I'm asking for photos a lot of times. Hey, can you just text me photos of your property?
That's good. That's good. The
Right.
only thing, who said that? Who was that? I'm
That was
sorry.
Tammy.
Okay, Tammy. So my the only thing with that is you put so much faith in the seller when you do that. All right, because if you got black mold behind the bathroom, you taking a picture of that and send it to a prospective buyer if you don't have to?
Yeah, I'm usually getting like the basic photos so I can then use the
Sure.
profit calculator to go, okay, is this a mild, mid, or full gut job? And then I use
Good,
the profit
good,
calculator to actually comp it out.
good. I love this. You guys, I'm telling you, I know, I think I
I
said it
actually
before, but
went today for someone and did boots on the ground. So
awesome.
they needed to know about an area here in Louisiana, and it happened to be in New Orleans East, and it's not the greatest area. So I was able to give them what I do, and I do this for pretty much anyone, and the girls in GGU know this as well. We do videos. So we go to the property and we do straight up videos of the entire property, the entire outside, inside, and then we take pictures of all the things, the big six, the HVAC, the hot water heater, everything that you have, the roof, the flooring. And then I also give them entire heads up on when I'm going into the area. I video the street so they have a street view. They
Yep,
know the front of the house, the back of the house, everything about it. And then I even put a lockbox today on it because they sent me one overnight to put the lockbox on there. So
I
you
love it.
said all the things, and that's what we do. So that way you have the most integrity as possible about the property, and you can see like this particular property, they thought it was a 3-2 and it was actually a 5-1,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
was a non-permitted addition that was six
Nice.
inches lower, that was covered in mold on the bottom. It was a hot mess with half the floors missing, and I was like, y'all, I'm gonna be very, very straight up with you all, and this is what's up, and you got some nosy neighbors on top of it, so just
Uh,
letting you know all the things. But yeah, so it's important to have boots on the ground that is somebody that's neutral, because then they can see the property from a different perspective and also give you as much information as possible. Because the seller
so
is not going to be honest. You said it
I
yourself,
I
right? The
I love that.
storytellers.
Christina absolutely nailed it. Okay, so how many people understood what she said? I mean, has a full grasp of what she said. Do not be ashamed to say it because this is really important stuff.
Mhm.
If you don't fully comprehend what she said, raise your hand or comment or write it in the chat or unmute yourself, okay? Because this is huge, all right? The point that Christina just made is absolutely massive, okay? Why, right? Because you're actually getting to see the difference between, okay? We're seeing contrast, all right? Now we know what to look for, all right? And I'll even do you one better. When I first started doing this, what I used to do was I would beg. Okay. Now my dad was a contractor and I used to work for him as a kid when I was in the summers because I was a knucklehead and I would get in trouble. So that was his way of, you do roofs for 10 hours a day for your old man, you tend to not get in too much trouble, right? Um, but that's what I would do. If I knew somebody was going to walk a property like Christina just did, I would go with them. I would beg them, please let me go with you. And inside joke, I love
So
it.
one of our girls here, she has a house. We call it Annabelle because it's scary AF.
Uh-huh.
Very scary. Chris
Yeah.
Lawn is actually on the call right now, so I will put her on the spot
Mm-hmm.
to talk about it because she went over there and she was itching when she came out of that property.
Yep.
And they wanted the full price for that particular property as though it was
Yeah.
completely rehab.
Yeah. And that's what they'll do, right? So to your point, you made such a good point. Guys, ask, right? Offer. I don't know how many of these wholesale chats you're in as far as like there's a billion of them, Facebook, and I'm new to social media, so I'm not really hip to all this stuff. I comment, just try to support everybody, but I don't really know what the hell I'm doing on social media, right? So if you guys reach out to me, just send me your number or something, get on the phone because I really don't know what I'm doing. But if you get a chance and you see somebody post on there, let's see, Kate, you're unmuted. Kate, where are you located? The general vicinity.
South Jersey.
All right, you're in South Jersey, girl. All right, my whole family is from Delaware County, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Yeah, I heard that.
You're
I heard the
close.
accent in your voice. Uh-huh. All right, so if Kate is located in South Jersey, so say she joins, Kate and me will get this. I don't know if anybody else will, but say she joins Paulsboro Real Estate,
Yeah.
okay, on Facebook. All right. Somebody from Ohio types in Paulsboro Real Estate and says, "Hey, I have a property at 123 Main Street. Is anybody there that can get boots on the ground?" I'll do it,
Yeah.
right? I'll do it. And then we either gotta go do it, okay? And we take videos, okay? We take notes, we do whatever we have to do. But even better, get a contractor. Listen to me, pay $100 and
Yeah.
get a contractor to go out there and walk that entire property and pick their brain like a mad person, right? When you see them staring at something for more than 15 seconds, like what's going through your head? Okay. If they're on the knocking looking for studs, right? If they got moldy, whatever, ask them what they're doing. Okay. So this is going to help us exponentially when we put together that product. Okay. Because that's what our wholesale deal is. Our wholesale deal is a product that we have in a box that we want to put a bow on, hand it to an end buyer and say, here's your 22% return on investment. And here's my $20,000 assignment fee. Okay. Because listen to me, I'm here to tell you, as an end buyer, I hope you make $70,000. If you hand me a flip as an end buyer and you have all your bases covered, what do I mean by that? You got holding costs, you got carrying costs, you got EMD, okay? You got contingency budget, okay? You have a rehab inside of $10,000. If you have that all covered, I don't care how much you make. And nobody that's a legitimate end buyer is ever going to care how much money you make on your assignment fee. You don't even have to double close, right? You don't have to hide your fee, right? If I go into my closing attorney and I see, whoa, Danny just made $70,000 on this assignment fee. I'm not sitting at the table like, hey, I know I bought it from you for $100,000, but I need you to make less money and me to buy it for less money. Hell no. You just presented me a product with 25% return on investment in this market. That's it. How do we get there? Okay. Comps, right? We need to know numbers. If you don't know numbers, you don't have a business. All right. So right into it. Okay. How many people are confident that they can underwrite a residential property, underwrite comp? How many people are confident that they can comp a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet in a subdivision where all the houses are exactly the same layout? All right, I got a couple of them. Okay. All right. That's what we're going to learn today. Okay. So we're just going to learn basics 101. All right. Now, when I comp, I'm huge on appraisal rules. Okay. What is an appraisal rule? Okay. Well, we know an appraiser is going to come out and appraise our property, right? What do they look for? What are some things that they look for? All right. And I'm gonna float some questions out here. They're kind of Christina, what's the word I'm looking for? Where I'm not looking for an answer, but if you answer,
Oracle.
rhetorical. That was a
Hmm.
rhetorical question, by the way. So I'll float some things out there, and it's food for thought. That's all it is. Okay, you're not supposed to know the answer to the question. All right, just food for thought. All right. So it'll be something like when we're comping properties, do we cross over major intersections and separate subdivision from subdivision? Something like that. Okay. Food for thought. You don't have to know the answer, right? But it's food for thought. Think about it. Okay. So this one, we're basically going to focus on how do we comp something like a 3-2, 1,200 square feet, and they're all the same type of houses in the same neighborhood. Okay. How do we comp that? All right. What do we look at? What are the parameters? Right. So again, comparable property. Okay. All we're doing is extracting data. All right. So if I have just on paper, okay. And then another thing, how many people are on their phone or have access to a computer or Zillow or something like that? Just quick hands. Okay, a lot of people. If not, that's fine. We're going to do notes and then I might pull up one or two
Lulu, will
properties.
you also do kind of how you explained to me way back when you were teaching me how to do comparables about the t-shirts?
The t-shirts.
That visual of like you've got this black shirt, this black shirt, this black shirt, this
Yeah,
black
yeah, yeah.
long sleeve shirt.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because that one's probably will be. I can definitely touch on that tonight, but that'll be more into next week when we start talking in terms of market specifics. Because like when I was saying today, we're going to comp. We might comp a 3-2, 1,200 square feet. Well, how do we? Our only three comps are we have a 4-2 and we got a 3-1. What? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What do we do? Right? We're like, I got no comps. Okay. This is where data extraction is really important. Okay. Because this is huge for all yous that are going to be flipping properties. Okay. Because you need to know if your property qualifies. Okay. You need to know if it's even worth your time. Second reason is unless you have fat pockets that you plan on using your own money to take these properties down, or Uncle Joe for level two girls, yep, yep, or Uncle Joe is got into Bitcoin in 2010, right, and he wants to lend. Okay, a lot of us for our first property, we're going to be going through hard money lenders. Okay, what is a hard money lender? Okay, hard money lender is pretty much the opposite of a private money lender. You have to meet qualifications. They're going to ask for credit scores. They're going to ask for, they're going to give you a certain percentage based on things that you have. So if you present this product and you have bulletproof comps, right, and you have a decent credit score, good credit score, the chances of you going from 80% loan to 90% loan, your chances go up a lot. And trust me when I tell you, think about that in terms of you want to buy a $200,000 property. That's a lot of money going from them covering 80% to 90%. And a lot of it has to do with how good the comps are that you bring to the table. Am I making sense? I lose anybody there?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if I lost you. Okay. All right. So again, the GGU girls better know the answer to this.
We've done quite a few immersion Wednesdays and Saturdays going through the difference when you have a 4-1 and a 3-2, and then you have like a 6-1, and then how do
Sure,
you get the
sure.
data? How do you compare
Yeah.
it? So,
And we're
girls,
gonna do
Gigi's
that.
putting you on the spot with this one. She just
Yep,
texted
yep.
me.
Yeah, and we're going to do that. We're going to do a lot of that next week because, like I said, here tonight, all I want is just basics. When we get done tonight, you should be able to call a seller tomorrow, and you should know what formula you have to use to put together that offer, cash offer. I'm not talking creative. I'm not talking subject to. I'm not talking seller finance. I'm not talking novations, right? The buzzwords, forget them for tonight, okay? We're just looking at comps in terms of what is the formula we need to get to, okay, to be able to present a cash offer to a seller tomorrow, okay? What is the first part of that, okay? After repair value, right? How do we get after repair value? We have to extract data, okay? Comparable properties. All right, so first thing, I always like to start with this, and this is a general rule of thumb. So I'm going to say this, comps, as far as if you guys know appraiser or, you know, user keeping up with the market and stuff like that, comps do change, but the fundamentals don't. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. What do I mean by that? The basics matter and they'll always matter. Okay. So the formula that I love to live by is 3-3-3. Okay. 3 properties sold in the last 3 months, right? Inside of 0.3 miles. Okay. All right. So what does that mean? Okay. There is right now in this market, okay, there's a million things that we can pull from, right? So when I first bought, I just bought the house that I'm listing this week. I bought it, I want to say September 3rd. It was down to the studs. And my contractors are just rock stars. I mean, they had it done from studs to finished product in 9 weeks. Pictures got taken today, and we're going on market Wednesday, right? We're going live, permitted work, everything, right? Okay.
Well,
So now, as awesome as my thank you, as awesome as my real estate agent is, I'm still the driver. Okay. So where does my expertise, right? And I hate that word, so I use that very loosely. I would consider them more of an expert in their field than me in my field, right? But I'm still the one that's responsible for getting the lender back their money, getting the contractors paid, and still managing budget and making sure everything, right? It's a lot of responsibility, but it's all, you got to be okay with selfless work. You're going to be getting phone calls from sun up to sundown. People are going to be crying. You're going to be managing emotions, right? Christina, you and I talked about this a million times. You're going to have them days where it's just loss after loss after loss. Okay. All right. You guys, my GGU girls. All right. We got to lock in now. Okay. So
mhm.
how do we do that? So for me, my real estate agent is going to come back and he's going to say, well, you bought this property for 105. Okay. You put $60,000 into it with a private money lender. Okay. So we didn't have a mortgage. All right. So we're all in for about 165. Okay. He wants to go on market at 260. Right. In this market, monster spread. Right. Most people would be like, man, do it. Absolutely. Where for me, I started looking at as is properties. Why? What does the market look like right now? Well, there's 2 properties on one on my street and one on the next street. Same houses, same layout, same bed and bath. They're all market listed for 265. What are the chances of us going on the market at 250? How much feedback are we going to get in the first week? Okay? Because in this economy, what do people look for?
Cheap.
Okay? Let's think this is a little deeper, but a perfect little transition point, vertical integration. Okay? What do I mean by that? Where can I implement skills that I have or somebody really close to me has into something that I already do? Okay? So what are 2 things right now that are probably above all else most needed? Number one is blue collar. Okay? Right? Anybody just see the article Ford just put out? They're trying to pay mechanics $120,000 a year and they can't get anybody to come in and work for them. Okay. Second one, affordable housing. Okay. We got to mirror the market. We got to figure out what's going on. Okay. So Kate, when Kate had that property that one with three on that land, and she's thinking in terms of like, man, you know, this could be a cash cow, the rents line up and everything. If Kate has a daughter, a son, a cousin, a brother, an uncle, an aunt that's a plumber or an electrician, vertically integrate them in the business. Okay. Now you get to isolate one variable right here where it's like, hey, Uncle Joe, listen, I got big problems over here and they're going to cost me about $6,000. Can you do me one on the arm and I'll take you and Aunt Lois out to dinner, right?
Mhm.
Think like that strategically, okay? So that is something that the days of not working are over. I'm sure we all know this, but the days of COVID where you buy a crapper and you hold it for 2 years and you get sight unseen, no inspection, cash offers $100,000 over asking. It's time to get to work. Okay. It's time to get to work for us. Okay. So what do? We look at those comps 3x3x3. All right. Now, if we have to go out to 6 months or we have to go out to half a mile, 0.75, I don't love it, but remember it's data extraction. All right. Okay. So what are our tools? All right. GGU and Christina's group and Gigi's group, you guys have all access to all this stuff. Okay. When I tell you are so far ahead of the game, I'm not just saying it to just hear myself talk or to give you a false sense of confidence. Trust me, you know, I have these conversations pretty often with quite a few people. And I'm not gonna say some of the conversations that I have, but just know way ahead of the curve. All right. So take that and hold it tight. All right. So it's data extraction. All right. So what are we looking for when we get that? Okay. So somebody says run a comp, we do 3x3x3. Okay. So we already have that. Now what do? Now we narrow down, right? We narrow. Okay. Because the tighter we can make our comps, right? Remember, ribbon on a package handed to an end buyer. We got to think like an end buyer. Okay. What are they looking at? What's the first thing an end buyer is going to do when you present them with a property? Shit, send me the comps. Send me the comps, right? If they look at the comps, if you send them a property, right, and I see this all the time, and I get it daily, right, and I try to help as much as I can, but sometimes it's just it falls on deaf ears. But if you send somebody a property and say you lock it up for 195, all right, and you get ARV comes back at 265, and you're like, wow, this spread is beautiful, right? Even if you get your ARV correct, if it needs new systems, Christina said the six. What was it? The six.
Your
Shit. What
big
was it?
six.
Big six.
Your big six.
If it needs three of the big six, it's gone. Profit margin is gone. All right. If we're not thinking like an end buyer, okay. Right. So first part of our formula for calculating our max allowable wholesale offer is right. Rhetorical question, but if anybody wants to jump in at any time, right. So how do we get it? Okay. So 3x3x3, then we narrow down. Okay. Same subdivision. All right. We don't cross major roads. Big six. Yep. Foundation's huge. Foundation's absolutely huge. That's the first one I see. Property size, right? We're probably thinking, why can't I comp 1,200 square feet with 1,600 square feet, 1,800 square feet? Okay. They're the same, right? They're both ranch houses. They're both Cape Cods. They both have 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Because once you start getting to a certain point, your dollar per square footage, it's just you're like trying to grab a hold of it over here, and it's like whoa, right? So if we want to stay inside of 100 feet of 100 square feet, but if we can't, then we'll stay inside of 250. Okay, we start getting outside 250, it's like we're starting to get into some type of murky waters. Okay, all right. So then that leads us into property type, right? What did I say? Do we want to comp 1895 colonial against a 1990 brick ranch?
No.
Right? No.
Mhm.
Right? Why not? Same layout, right? Okay. Technology advances mean something. Okay. Now you have about, I would say, yep, I would say you probably have about 10 to 15 years before technology just starts like, you get a 2024 build, chances are that 1975 build, it's got some differences that are like, all right, we're going to have to, as an end buyer, we're going to have to throw some money at this thing. Okay. Unless it's been, you know, completely like revamped 100%. If it's been revamped 100%, though, think about this, right? If it's been revamped 100%, and they already put all that money in that, not for nothing, but what do they need us for? They don't need us. They're not in distress. They're going to list it on MLS for full price. All right. The most they might have to do is throw up a seller concession, 3,000, 4,000, whatever. Doesn't matter. Right? Because they already put all that money into it. We want to find opportunities where people are in legitimate distress and they don't have the credit score, they don't have the money, they don't have the time, right? Hey, look, we're your white knight. We're coming in here and we're buying properties as is. We will take care of everything that you need, okay? All we need for that is a discount, all right? So, three things when it comes to talking to sellers, okay? And this is directly related to your comparables and stuff, okay? You have speed, convenience, and you have price point, okay? We can only give them 2 out of 3. All right? Make sense? So when you're just talking to sellers, remember this, right? Because what do they want? They want full asking, they want a 2-week close, and they want to leave all their stuff behind.
Yeah.
We can't do it. Sorry. Right? Now we can give you half price. We'll close cash in 2 weeks, and you can leave whatever you got in there. You can leave it. We'll take care of it, right? Or we'll get you up as high as we possibly can. Okay, maybe pitch creative, right? Depending on what the property looks like, we might get power of attorney, or depending on what state you're in, attorney in fact, whatever. And we might throw that thing on MLS for novation. That might take some time though. Okay, it's going to be convenient. I'm coming in with a white glove service. You don't have to lift a finger, but it's going to take some time. All right. Okay. So then, like we do, okay, we mirror the market. Okay. So what does market direction look like? All right. So for me, Jacksonville is a market that I like. Okay. Now, when I go to Jacksonville, I have to know that there's certain zip codes in Jacksonville that just really aren't feasible. Okay. Why? Crime is high, right? Crime is bad. So now I just took this gigantic buy box I had of end buyers and I just shrunk it like this. Okay. Because I know I don't want my kids growing up around that, right? I don't want them growing up around that kind of stuff. So I just took it and just shrunk it like this because even as an end buyer, yeah, there might be profit in a deal that's in a really bad neighborhood, but it's just so much thought that has to go into it because chances are if I'm an end buyer in that market and I call one of my real estate agent friends on the phone and I'm like, hey, tell me a little bit about this local zip code, they're going to be like, no, 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 hell no. Here's the zip codes we want to go in, right? Very, very important. Okay. Remember, this is important when you're comping, but this is more on think like an end buyer side. Okay. All right. You guys with me so far? Everything making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we got our 3x3. We have mirroring the property as far as what it looks like. Okay. Then we have layout. We have some square footage stuff. Okay. Then what we do is we can start looking into some traffic stuff. All right. Because this is another one that plays a part that kind of goes into zip codes and stuff. All right. So if I'm comping a property that's on the busiest street in Atlanta, is my comp for that going to be different than the metro than the backwoods country of Georgia? Is that going to look a little different? Right? Why? Right? Because it's rural. Right? Remember, we think like end buyers. Okay. So what are my chances if I go to a rural place? Yeah, I might get the property 50% off, but if I don't have a different exit strategy than wholesale, I'm in some trouble if I can't find an end buyer. Okay. So activity, end buyer activity. Christina, I'm sure Gigi has touched on this. If not, she definitely will. But have you guys gotten into I believe it's prop stream everybody has access to. Is that correct?
We have prop wire, prop streams for level 2, and we go into fix and flipping and buy and hold. That's our next one.
Prop wire, you can do all of it. Have you
Yep.
guys gone over looking where there's been cash buyer activity yet?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I figured. I was just wondering because that's a really important thing. So that's what I was talking about. When you guys are looking,
We also went over exactly what you're talking about, depending on the view, depending on if it's on a busy street, depending on where it's situated. For us, our first thing that we talk about is thinking like an end buyer, because we use a certain profit calculator that has what the percentage is going to be for the end buyer first. So whenever we do our ARVs and whenever we have the seller wants to give like whatever their price is, we put that in immediately, and then we start to ask them, well, why do you want that price? Like, tell me more about your property, and then we start comping while they're talking. And then we're also
perfect.
looking at what the profit return is going to be for our end buyer. And if our end buyer is going to be spending more money on the repairs versus what they're going to get back, then it's not a deal specifically for wholesale, but maybe it might be for buy and hold and rental. What's the rental return? So yeah, these girls are pretty advanced.
I mean, you are absolute rock stars. I mean, everybody is. So, all right, let's dig into one here while we're checking this stuff out. Let me just look at some real quick. So, does everybody have access to a smartphone or computer that can type an address in and pull Zillow up?
If you're in GGU, pull up your prop wire. Some of you that have prop stream, pull up your prop stream.
Yeah, or whatever. Like I said, whatever you guys want to do. I'm going to go over a property that I actually just we did this one. When did I do it? I want to say October 8th. So this was a novation deal, but these are perfect comps. All right.
What's the address? I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, so it's 1111 Sunnydale Lane, Sunnydale Lane, Lane, Port Wentworth, Georgia. That's Port, Port, Wentworth, Wentworth, Georgia, 31407.
Pretty house.
All right. So, how did this situation come about? All right. So, this was somebody had contacted me about this property. And basically, what they said was, I need you to sell my house. Like, all right. Okay. So, what do? We start thinking about exit strategy as investors, right? Okay. So I start getting details. What's the details of the property? Okay. Obviously, we can see on Zillow, it's a beautiful house, right? Gorgeous house. It's right on the water. It's 2014 build. Beautiful house. Okay. Didn't need anything. So I can't wholesale it. And a hotel, my margin goes like this, right? I can take it over as a rental, but I'm not really into having single family homes, especially with a mortgage like this in this market. Because if the renter ups and jets on me, I'm the one that's left carrying the mortgage payment. Okay, till I find a new tenant, and I got to qualify one to put them in something like this, right? So what do we do? Okay, novation seems like a pretty good play. All right, we'll go over all this stuff. I'm just going to walk you guys through kind of a little bit of things to get into the comps. Okay, so how many people are looking at the screen right now that I'm looking at on Zillow? 11 Sunnydale. Okay, so we're all seeing 3 bed, 2 bath, 2,295 square feet. Everybody sees that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you can pull up prop stream, you can pull up prop wire. Honestly, I'll just use Zillow sometimes. If I'm digging into things, I'll use Deal Machine. I'll use I get them all mixed up. Prop wire, prop stream, whatever they are, right? We all use the same software. It's all one and the same. Okay. So if I'm looking at this and I see now, you guys are going to kind of see this too, because we fire sold this property because we just locked it up for a ridiculous number. So she owed 250. Christina, you're in Lydia's group, correct? Okay,
Yes, I'm
Lydia.
in Lydia's group. Yeah.
All right, we just did about a 3 hour interview about this property and novations. I don't know when she's releasing it, but she has all that, and we talked totally in depth about this one. So that'll be a
Oh
great
yeah,
one.
for sure. Get it and
Yeah,
share it.
yeah. All right, so we come down here, and if we're on Zillow or wherever, we just come down. We just look at some parameters: 3.2, 2295. Okay, built in 2014. All right. So we'll see what's going on. We look at the pictures. We're like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then what do we start looking at, right? We'll come down here. And what's the thing we see? Is anybody on Zillow?
Yep.
Okay. For the people that are on Zillow, do we come down and we see comparable homes?
Comparable value.
Okay. So we're going to see comparable homes. And what's it going to do? It's going to give us a list of properties that have recently sold that are in proximity to our property, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So we come down and we look at the map and we're like, all right, hold up. Okay. Because is anybody looking at the same map that I'm looking at where it looks like we got to cross over some stuff?
Yes.
Okay. So what do we immediately do? Okay. We're
It's
thinking like this.
right.
Okay. Immediately. Now, what we might do is we might extract some data. Okay. So we see what's going on. We see where our house icon is, and then we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're like, okay, well, there might be something that goes into this. All right. So we'll click on it. We might click on one and we might just see where it is in proximity. Because who's looking at Zillow and sees the second one in on their screen that says 5 Twin Oaks Place, Savannah, Georgia? Who sees that? Does anybody see that?
I see it.
Kate
Yeah.
sees it. Tammy sees it. I think
Mhm.
Stacy sees it. Okay. So, all right. So let's just look at that. We don't have to click on it. We'll just look at it. What do we see? We see 3-2. Michelle sees it. We see 3-2, 1.4 square feet. All right. And then just take a quick look at the house. All right. And then when you take a quick look, come all the way back up to our house and see as far as layout wise. Do they look pretty similar? Right?
Yeah, it's just opposite. Yeah.
Right? Exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have how many areas of this are qualified? Layout is qualified. Bed and bath are exactly the same. Okay. But now what do we do? What's our square footage look like?
Bad. Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So is this property, rhetorical question, is this property, right, disqualified?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is until next week when we get into adjusting variables. All right. Now, we do not want to use this property. But listen, if we got to present a package, we got to present a package. All right. So we don't want to use it. And then what's the next thing? And this is a good one, just a little exercise, right? If you don't know the answer, I'm going to answer it anyway. But if anybody can, what would be your next step? If you saw this and you broke that down, what would be your next step? What you would look for? Just blurt it out. Anything that comes to the top of your head, type it in the message, whatever, raise your hand, doesn't matter.
Is it renovated?
Okay, Katie, that's a good one. That's a really good one. That's a really, really good one. Anything else? Anybody got anything else? What might be our next thing we look at? Let's go back to what was our first rule? 3, what else?
3 comparables within the last 3 months sold. So where are the ones that are sold within the last 3 months would be the next thing I would look for.
Okay,
And then within the 0.3 miles.
that's it. All right. Those are the ones right there. That's it. All right. So that's how quickly you can decipher a comparable.
Mm.
Who's with me? Raise your hand. Who's not with me?
I got
If you're not with me 100%, don't raise your hand.
you. I got you.
Type in the chat, I'm not 100% with you, Lou, and we'll go back through it again. Because this is nothing but reps. This is all reps.
Liz,
Michelle?
you good?
Liz is good? Okay, Michelle. All
Liz
right.
is
So,
good?
Michelle,
Okay.
where's Michelle at? Where's Michelle?
Michelle,
Where's
where's
Michelle?
Michelle at?
Where's Michelle? All right. All right. So, Michelle, so let's just go back from top to bottom and let's just go through this again. And we're just doing this. We're doing this with one specific property. And the reason we're doing it is because we're using this today as a disqualification. Then I'm going to show you next week how to use it as qualification. Kind of crazy concept, right? All right. So what we do is we look here and we see 11 Sunnydale Lane, Port Wentworth, Georgia. Okay, 31407. All right. Actually, Michelle, are you on Zillow or are you on something else? I hate putting her on the spot. I feel horrible. Michelle, you're not on the hot seat. Don't
You
feel
can
like you're on the
unmute
hot seat.
yourself, Michelle. It's all
Yeah,
good. Don't
don't feel
worry.
like you're on the hot seat.
Which Michelle? Am I the only one on here?
I believe
No,
you are. Thank
I
you.
am, but I know what he's talking about. I'm with
Okay.
Okay.
LouLou.
Oh,
Okay.
there is another Michelle. Okay,
Hello.
Michelle.
All right, so I'll break it
See.
down. I'll just break it down in terms of this. And then Michelle, if you need any, if you want to keep going through this, I'll break it down one more time. And then if you want to go through it again, Christina put my number in the chat. Call me in the morning. I get up early. I'm about to go to bed. I get up at about 3:30 Eastern Standard every day. So I'm hitting the hay at this. But we'll go through it in the morning. We'll do it. All right. So 3 bed, 2 bath, okay, 2,295 square feet. All right, so here's the first thing I do, okay? The first thing that I do, and I'm old school, right? I don't know, you operate however you operate. I have AI technology integrated into my business, but I'm still pen and paper guy, right? That's how we go. So the first thing I do, right? I see everybody like, yeah, right, okay. So first thing I do, I get a pen and paper, okay, and I get a fresh sheet. I start fresh, all right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down address. I'm going to write down bed bath. I'm going to write down square footage. I'm going to write down year built, and I'm going to put in there square foot lot. Okay. Now, square foot lot, that's a little bit of a deeper one that we'll talk about next week, but that's really good for land and stuff like that. So it is an important parameter. Okay. So what do we do? All right. Now, Zillow is going to give us 1,000 numbers on here, just like PropWire, just like PropStream, just like Batch, whatever. Okay. And we don't know what the hell we're looking at, right? We're like, oh, I just somebody tell me if this property is going to make me $40,000. Like that's all I want to know. I don't really care about anything else, right? Like just somebody looking like this, like, am I going to make right? Somebody tell me, okay? So I don't have to do this stuff. All right. I would just want to go to the conferences and I just want to meet all the people and I just want to have fun, right? I want to be a real estate investor. Okay. So we got all these numbers and we don't know what they mean. Okay. So for somebody like Kate, there's an estimated rent here. Okay. And I'm just touching on this lightly, just lightly. Okay. So estimated rent would be a parameter that would be a mandatory parameter that we would have to pull if we were looking at a buy and hold. Everybody with me?
Oh, I see
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Right. And I will tell you guys something. Yous are all probably just very, very high IQ functioning individuals. Okay. But this stuff is not self-explanatory. This is not common sense. So don't feel like if you're not catching on immediately that you're like, what? This is not common sense. All right. Don't listen to the things that you've heard. Don't listen to people who are like, I got my first deal in 6 days. Just clap for them and keep it moving. Right. That's all we do. We don't, there's none of that going on. Like we don't hate on anybody, but we don't fall in love with shiny object syndrome. Okay. We stay in our lane. We work at our pace. All right. That's how we roll.
Yeah.
Okay. So all these numbers, we got all this information. All right, it's going to give us our Zillow's estimate, which is every single seller that you call on the phone, this is the number that they're going to bring up. And the fact that their third cousin removed that died 50 years ago was a real estate agent, right? And they told them don't sell a house for less than $1 billion, right? So what do? We come down here, we see 31% in the last 10 years, our home value has risen. What's it look like today? All right. We keep coming down. We keep coming down. Michelle, you with me? That's rhetorical. I'm not putting you on the spot again. All right. So we're going to come down to comparables. All right. And we're going to look and we're going to see what our comparables look like. Right. And we're going to be like, and you guys are probably seeing these comparables and you're like, Lou, what the hell? You're like, I'm looking at a 3.2, 1.2 square foot that sold for $290,000. You got 1,000 more square foot and you only sold it for $10,000 more dollars. Trust me, there was a strategy behind it, and I'll talk about that later. I locked it up on a novation deal, and the seller that I locked it up from stopped paying the mortgage. All right, so I had to fire sale this thing, or I was either going to owe half my profit at the closing table, or I was going to have to start carrying the note until we sold it. Also, the house listed right next door that was in exponentially better condition went on the market the day after we did. All right. So this is like, some things that you guys are, Gigi's going to teach you all this stuff. And I'll just kind of be there as like the person to bounce questions off as far as, hey, Lou, have you ever done this or stuff like that? Right. So again, Michelle, we're looking at the ones comparable homes. It's right in the middle. Okay. So remember, if we wrote down our property, we know that we have 3 bed, 2 bath, 2,200 square feet. We have one like that. Genevieve, we have one like that we're working on right now. Genevieve, I'll get with you after the chat and we'll talk about it. Or the Zoom, whatever the thing is. So you bear with me with the stuff. All right, so we have 3-2, 22. Gigi got it. I know you do. 3-2, 1.4 thousand square feet, right, is the one we're looking at. Now that's almost 800 square feet less than ours. And we're looking at it and we're like, it's the same layout. It's the same property. It's the same price on here that we sold ours for, right? And we're like, man, we're so eager to just come up with this comparable, right? We just want this to be a comparable so bad because we've been extracting data for a week, right? We're like, oh my gosh, this is perfect, okay? But if we present this package to a legitimate cash buyer, chances are that there's been some transactions that they've done in that time period, right? They're looking at the same parameters that we're looking at, okay? So remember, we think like end buyers on the back end, right? Right, Michelle? We think like end buyers. That's how we put together our package. Because we can lock a deal up. Listen, anybody, all 15, 20 of us on here right now, if we skip trace 10 properties, we will lock up the first one we call if we offer them retail. Right? So that's what we're all seeing. We see 1,000 deals on every Facebook and YouTube. I don't even know what the hell it is. Facebook and all the other ones. We see everybody and their mother but us locking deals up. And we're like, what the hell? Okay. They're locking them up. You still have to dispose of the deal. Right? Until that money is in our bank account, the transaction was not completed. Okay. But if we reverse engineer this thing, Michelle, if we reverse engineer this and we look at it from the back end as a return, what return on investment are we going to give our end buyer? That's how we can disqualify our parameters. That's all this is. Excuse me, is a disqualification process. Does that make more sense? Does that settle in a little bit with some people as far as reverse engineering from the back end and just disqualifying things? How's everybody feel about it when they look at it from that lens?
A lot better, yeah.
Right? It makes a little bit more sense because instead of looking at this thing and we're like, we just got to sit here checking boxes. We're like, oh, shit, we're down to step 6. I mean, we are looking good. There's no way this is not a comparable. Then we get to step 6 and we're like, oh my gosh, there's 7,000 more square feet in this lot than my other property. And they're 30-year builds apart. And we're like, I'm done. I'm not doing anymore. Okay. Whereas if we reverse engineer the back end and we say, what does my end buyer need right now to get between 20 and in this market? Listen, I'm doing a property right now where I'm if everything goes perfect, I'm taking down 19% return on investment. Okay. So the end buyer, yeah, you're still going to have some people that are like, hey, I don't touch anything less than 20%. But again, guys, we're going to start seeing a lot of the days of just locking up properties and just shipping them off the hedge funds. Those days are done. All right. Like I said, we have to get really serious about our product and our business. Okay. So Michelle, let's think about it in terms of that instead of checking off boxes to get to our comparables. Let's look at it as, hey, let's start from the back and reverse engineer this thing from the front, and then we'll qualify properties that way. Okay. So then that allows us to just come. We have subject property here. All right. And day one, okay, subject property, we don't have to go crazy. All right. If we see a 5-2, right, and we have a 3-2, disqualify it, right? Just, hey, look, right? It's not there. And then if it's not there, then what do? We either figure out a way to run these numbers for them to make sense based off parameters. We use people like Gigi as our resource. We use all our people in here as our resource, right? And we just stay a student. Okay, we just stay a student the whole time. All right, because if you have a 5-1, like Christina ran into, our 6-1, whatever it was, and you have a 3-2, and they're two completely different properties. Yeah, they might be next door neighbors, but you're like, you can't really do anything with that information because the rehab budget is going to be so different too, right? Because remember, what's our objective tomorrow is to get our formula to be able to know what our max allowable offer is. All right. We need ARV, we need rehab budget. Now we need to take our assignment fee off of that. Okay. That's right. We don't manufacture deals. And this is, guys, I'm telling you, when Gigi says that, she is so spot on, because that's why I made the example. If we skip trace a list, every one of us right now with 10 properties on it, and we call the first one and we offer them retail, they're going to take it. We take care of closing costs. We take care of commissions. They're going to take it, right? We can't move that property. That's BS. That is BS. And this is why we're getting all these restrictions thrown at us. This is why real estate agents hate us. This is why end buyers hate us, because we waste people's time. Okay, we just show up and we're like, hey, we're here with a solution, and we're like, the seller's looking at us like, if we don't have a contingency clause in there to terminate, we better have the funds to take this baby down, right? We better be capable of taking this down, because listen to me, the legal side of this stuff gets sticky quickly. Okay, you guys are working with Gigi, so it's going to be compliant all the way through. I'm not worried about that, but trust me, you will see it. You will see some stuff where you're just sitting there and you're like, you got a legal team. I mean, can't beat it. Listen to me. The three most important things that you're going to have in your business, okay? If you guys ever take on a partner, all right, you're probably going to start with a CPA, okay? But when we start getting, funds look right and everything looks right, CPA, yep, tax attorneys, CPAs, and then your lawyer, okay? Because what you got to do sometimes, and I do this
And
all the
we have
time.
a credit repair team.
I mean, it's all in one. I'm telling you, when I say you guys are so far ahead of the game, I'm not lying to you, right? So, like I said, compliance is massive. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it just to keep reiterating, Michelle, it's a reverse engineer process. Qualify or disqualify and move on quickly. All right. We don't want to spend an hour qualifying whether or not a property is a comparable or not. Now, are we going to double check our work? Yeah, absolutely. We're going to double check our work because our reputation is behind this. We don't want to be known as a wholesaler who just throws mud at the wall and hope it sticks, right? And then figure out the exit strategy when it gets there, right?
Yeah.
We want to have that conversation with qualified seller. Okay. We want to look at subject property, and then we want to dissect. Okay. So just one more. Anybody still on Zillow? Just stay with me for one more. Just stay with me with one more real quick. Anybody that's on Zillow. All right. So we're going to come down and we're going to look at what are we going to look at? Stay with me. Stay with me. All right. Neighborhood. It's going to be a big layout of the neighborhood, and it's going to say 31407. Raise your hand if you see 31407 with the neighborhood and you see a whole bunch of houses and properties. 31407. Okay.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
You see it? All right. So, Kate, what you're going to do is you're going to zoom in and you're going to see subject property in a cul-de-sac. Do you see subject property in kind of like a little picture window in a cul-de-sac?
Yep.
All right. There's going to be a property immediately to the right of that. It's going to say 322K on it, and it's going to have a yellow circle.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to click on that. What do we see?
We see a comp.
We see a comp.
Yeah.
We see a comp. Okay. Now, Kate and I are going to kind of go over this a little bit and dissect, and then, like I said, we'll do a quick little short review. Any questions you have, we'll take some questions, and then we'll get set up going into next week. So, Kate, what do we see when we look at this?
Well, it's the layout.
Okay. All right. So first off, okay, you're absolutely right, but let's start with what is our first three.
Okay. So the 3-2. right? It's the
Okay.
the property, the months sold, right? So October is when it was sold. So
All right, there's
within the
one.
time.
There's one.
It's right next door, so it's within the in the parameter.
Okay. And then the third one, it's one property, so you're not going to get the third one, which is three properties. But you got the two. All right. So
Yeah.
you got all three. But okay, so we start there. Okay. So qualified. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move down. What is first thing that jumps out of us? What are we, right? What is the age old expression? We eat with our eyes, right?
True. Yeah.
We do everything with our eyes.
Yeah.
So what's the first thing that jumps out at you about subject property that is comparable to the previous one?
The 3-2.
It's exact same layout.
Yeah. Oh, the layout. Yeah. Yeah. That was.
But no, 3-2, you're 100% right.
Right.
Like it's all I asked that question the wrong way. 100%.
Yeah.
Right? It's layout. You transition perfectly into the second one. It's 3-2. Okay.
Mhm.
The only thing that's a little bit different is
Yeah.
square footage.
Yeah.
Square footage, right? But again, you would see price reflection on that. The reason you didn't is because I fire sold the other one.
Right.
All right. And then, like you said, as far as condition, right? And you guys you don't have a way to know that. That's why I'm telling you some of this stuff, right? As far as like price reflection, square footage. Okay. So right now we're just looking at qualifications up and down the board.
Right.
All right. So Michelle, stay with me. Okay. Stay with me, Michelle. All right. So Kate, so we come down. You're doing great, by the way. You got this, whether you know it or not, you got this. All right, so we're going to come down and we're going to look at that little box right there that Zillow gives us, okay? You're not going to remember this. I know it because it was one of my properties, but it was built in 2014. What year was this built in?
This was 2013.
Check it off. Let's move on,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So we come down, we keep going down, we keep going down. We're not interested in these numbers and stuff until these numbers become something we need to be interested in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then we come down here. Now, where are we? We're down at the comparable home page.
Yep.
Okay. This is where it starts getting good, guys. This is really where it starts getting good. All right. So we're going to come to our map. And Kate and I are looking at a subject property with a little blue circle with a house in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to see a number 2 and we're going to see a number 4 next to it.
Yep.
Okay. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our mouse and we're going to go up and we're going to look at number 2, which is 13 Laurel Lane. Right? Kate, we seeing the same thing?
Yep.
Then we're going to click the little arrow right under comparable homes to move our cursor over so we can look at number 4, which is 111 Lakeshore Boulevard. Are we seeing the same thing?
Yep, I see it.
Okay. So now we're cooking. All right. And this is where we start to really get into things. Christina, this is where we start getting into black Nike shirt, black Reebok shirt. One of them's long sleeve, okay? Because Kate, subject property that we had was 3-2, correct?
Yes.
What do we see on number 4 on 111 Lakeshore Boulevard that's different than a 3-2?
Yeah, it's a 4-2.
It's a 4-2.
Yeah.
We had 2,200 square feet, correct?
Yes. And
How much is it?
This is 1.7.
Okay, but we see this and we're like, why the heck is this selling for 310
Right.
when LouLou sold for 299? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Remember this, right? So this is just what I'm trying to get through to you guys. Michelle, you with me? Raise your hand or comment if you're with me. If not, you and me we'll start from scratch tomorrow. But this is what I'm getting into because this is how you guys present that comparable package. You present it to your end buyer, you present it to your hard money lender. This is how you build your reputation right here. All right. And then next week, what we're going to do is we're going to go over adjustments, right? Because Kate, with this 4-bed, that might add $5,000 to $10,000. Okay. But we got to do a little bit of third grade math here because our square footage is still all 500 square feet. Okay. So now how do we figure out a way to get these two properties to look like comps to our end buyer and our hard money lender when these numbers are whacked? They're not really whacked. That's the adjustments that we're going to go over next week because when we look at them, Kate, what do they look like?
They look like they're good. I mean, other than,
Same layout, right?
yeah,
Same
same in there,
layout.
right?
Same
I lost
layout.
my page.
Guys, layout is huge. I'm telling you, layout is huge. We can do numbers with bed, bath, and square foot. Layout is huge. All right. So then again, Kate, even if you lost your page, you're fine. You get an A plus.
Sorry.
I'm telling you, you have this. Kate has this stuff down. Everybody, Kate's got it.
Except for my lakefront property.
We'll figure. I'll help you with that one. We'll get that one knocked out. You, me, and Gigi will knock that one out. All right. So then number two, we go back to number two. We're almost done, guys. We'll wrap this up right after this one. We go back to number two. It's 310. Okay. Subject property was 299, but it had 5, 6, 7. It had almost 700 square feet more. Okay. But it's right there. 3x3. We got Michelle. Michelle, do you see us reverse engineering this from the back end? And instead of qualifying, we're disqualifying. All we're doing right now is just putting together a perfect package. Okay. So we have 3.2, 1.5 square feet. We're all 700 square feet. Listen, we want to stay inside of 250, but I said that to say that there's third grade math involved, which is what we're going to get into next week. Okay. So again, we're right where we need to be. All right. And then again, we come down and we're like, we see our map here. And then Kate, are you still on it? Are you back on it?
No,
Okay, that's all right. It's okay. It's okay. All right. And then that's it. That's it. We reverse engineer. Now we have at least 3 properties that have qualified for us to look into deeper. Guys, that's all comps is. That's all comps is. All right. That's it. We just ran comps, and if I wasn't here, you guys would be able to do this in your sleep. I'm telling you, right? It's just knowing structure and knowing what to look for. That's all it is. Because we went from sitting here and thinking, how the hell are we going to find 3 properties in this market that have just sold in 3 months inside of 0.3 miles with the exact bed and bathroom and the exact square footage, to getting to the point we're at now. Melissa, thank you so much. To where we're at now, to where we just reverse engineered this thing from the back. And now we have 3, 4, 5. How many properties do we have? Now we can sink our teeth into this thing. Now we can say, all right, you know what? This is a property I'm interested in. Okay. Then we do what Christina does. We get boots on the ground. We call contractors. We start looking into things, right? We start going on Home Depot when we're sitting there watching Orange is the New Black, and we know we ain't supposed to be doing that, okay? We're on Home Depot, and we're looking at the price of trim now. That's what we do now, okay? So we do all this
You
stuff.
can also find a lot of contractors at Home Depot.
That's right. There she is. Look at her. Another more trouble. So that's it. Guys, that's it. I'm telling you. That's it. That's it. And that's all it is. Like I said, with the group that you have, with the resources that you have, I'm telling you, it feels so intimidating. Yeah, Gigi, anytime. Thank you guys so much for having me. With the resources that you have, and like I said, the community, amazing. Melissa, you can use it anywhere. Like I said, you guys have some high level resources. I would use them. You know what I mean? Because for me, it's a little different. Like what I do, just my process is I do it exactly this way. I do it the exact same way. If it qualifies for my time, what I'll do is I'll kind of structure my deals a certain way. If I see one on market, what I'll do is I'll call the listing agent or I'll call a real estate agent I know. And what I'll do is I'll say, hey, why don't you run a CMA for me, which is a comparative marketed analysis. Why don't you run a CMA for me? Go check this property out or something like that. And if the numbers come back or whatever, you can represent me. So I entice them with some commission. That's like some, you guys probably all know that, or you will very soon because Gigi will teach you that. But that's just a strategy, right? That's like, hey, I'm just going to work this thing, right? Yep. So ways like that. Off market. Oh, listen, we're investors. This is what we do, right? Off market's our bread and butter. Okay. But your on market stuff is going to give you really good feedback when you practice. Okay. And then guys, we're going to go so deep into this. I don't want to go so deep to where we go completely off the deep end. right? But we're going to touch on like FEMA census tracts and FEMA flood zones and transformers in the backyard and all that. We're going to touch on that stuff, swimming pools, right? Which I'm sure everybody's like, tell me about the pool. And I tell sellers all the time, like, yeah, I'm probably going to throw concrete in there. Bedroom, bathroom for anybody, bedroom, bathroom, I'm sorry, garage and basement for anybody. Kate, we know all about this, right? In our area, we know basements will destroy a house quicker than anything. Foundation stuff, which is one of the six foundation, man. I'm telling you guys, you lose your behind if you go in there. Yeah, I absolutely will. I absolutely will. Yep, that's next week. Next week we're going to do a lot of adjustment stuff. Like I said, third grade math, right? Okay, third grade math. All right. We're going to touch on some climate stuff. Okay, we're going to touch on like what the difference between South Florida and South Dakota looks like. We're not going to go too deep, right? We love cemeteries in New Orleans. Yep, the know you bounce. Um, yeah, we're going to do stuff like that, guys, right? So, we're going to have an intuitive, subconscious level of understanding how to run comparable properties, okay? Because if you aren't making offers, we can't go to the bank. We can't go to the bank, right? Um, and then, the big one is going to be, I don't even know what week it is. I'm getting old. I think it's not next week. The two following that is how I'm going to show you guys how to put scope of works together. All right, that is the business in a nutshell. Okay, scope of work is the business in a nutshell. From the dollars and cents to how much your trim costs, to how much flooring and what kind of flooring, to the difference between how much vanity and the master is going to add to your house. Okay, quartzite versus butcher block in the kitchen counters. Okay, we're going to go over all that stuff because if you get to that point, which you all are going to get there, and you're closer than you think. Kate is right there. Kate is 40 hours on Home Depot away from being able to do her own scope of work. When you guys can do that, all you have to do is find one legitimate cash buyer and make them fat. And all you do is just keep collecting assignments. That's it. Gigi will tell you that. You get the scope of work down. You nail these rehab budgets down. I'm telling you find one legitimate, not a tire kicker, you find one legitimate cash buyer who's doing multiple properties and you make them fat because they know. They already know, right? If Gloria comes in with a property, I'm going to comp it and I'm going to underwrite it and stuff like that. But chances are good that her numbers are so tight on this because we're on our fifth one and I'm up 150% on the property she sent me. I'm praying to whoever you pray to that Gloria calls me this week, right? Because we already know it. And Gloria's getting an assignment check in 2 weeks. Probably closer to a week, right? Look at her.
Gloria and Chris Lund better call you this week because they've got properties to sell.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I'm here, man. I really am. I kind of,
That's awesome.
I still do a ton of stuff day to day in my business. I'm on the phone nonstop. But like I said, when I get invested in people, I really invest in them. I give everybody a chance, but it's just people just waste your time, and I don't have time for that shit anymore, So, you've all got my number. Where's my girl Connie? Is Connie in here?
She left early tonight.
Yeah. Connie
She had to leave early
and I, we've been hitting it. Connie's been calling me. We've been hitting it. We've been going over some stuff. Connie's awesome. She's doing so well. I'm here for all of you. Anything you need, any properties, any questions. Gigi knows all this stuff. Again, like I said, I'm just here as a resource if you guys want to bounce anything off or, market specific, right? If anybody's in the state of Georgia or Florida, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, if anybody's got questions in those areas, if I don't know the answer to the question, I can find you a resource that will be able to answer the question. I love it, Gigi. That's how it's done right there. So, I know that was such a mouthful. I know it's just, but just trust me, you did so good. Everybody did so good. And I hope we are at the point now where comps are a little less scary than they were about an hour and a half ago. Right? How's
This was a
everybody feeling?
great this was a great example, your property, because when we first looked it up, it did seem like there was such a chasm between that and what the comparables looked like they would have been. So that was a really good example that you gave. Walking through it with you was super helpful too, knowing where to go.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I guys, we can take all my HUD statements and we can just run, and I'll just show you what properties I comped. I still keep them. I don't know where the hell they are.
Would
That's
you
fine.
be open to next week being on your computer to share your screen?
Yeah. I got to get somebody to teach me how to do it, but yeah, absolutely.
I got you.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't know what. Listen, that's why I'm the part of the business that I network and I make the relationships and find the properties and stuff like that. My partner, he automates it. I'll kind of show you guys a little bit what my engine looks like per se. Gigi's got you guys just in cruise control. But just to let you guys know, um, I have, yeah, Michelle. Well, I'll help you with all that stuff, Michelle. I use Google Sheets, guys. I don't have freaking CRM, fucking whatever they call it now, right? I use
Oh, you're
I use
making me feel better. Thank you.
I
I
use
can't
Google
stand
Sheets.
it. I use
I
I
I use Google
use
Sheets.
Excel for everything.
I use Google Sheets. My whoever's pulling my leads or doing whatever, they send me a qualified lead. I call them on the phone, say, "Hey, Mr. Seller, how you doing?" Oh, what do you want? Listen, I'm here. I'm here. If you want to sell your property, you know, I'm here. Oh well, if you don't give me $1 billion, and then we just blow past objections. I'm going to do everything I can to get you $1 billion, and then they send you their property, and it looks like the anybody ever see the Wolf of Wall Street? Who's seen the Wolf of Wall Street?
I think I did see that.
Where they're doing where they're showing the stock that he's pumping out, that he's selling to people for $20,000 a share or whatever it is, and then they show it and it's a little square box like this with old lumber ripped out of it.
Mhm.
They're like, I'm like, yeah, send me pictures. We'll give you $1 billion for it. And they send me black mold here, and the roof's got a hole in it, and there's a tree growing out of it. I'll tell you guys a funny story about a house that my mentor bought at an auction about a decade ago for $300, that a tree was growing out of the floor in the living room. I'll tell you guys about that and how much money he made off that deal. I'm still sick about it.
I would still
Um,
buy that house because I want a tree in the
yeah,
middle of my house. That's
yeah. Oh,
awesome.
it's right up your alley. You would have had dream weavers hanging from it and stuff like that. You would have made it a hangout. Uh-huh. No doubt. So listen, guys, anybody has any questions, fire away. I got time. I don't want to step on toes. I don't know how Christina and Gigi run it. Like I said, but I'm here if anybody has questions. I can answer a couple of them, and don't ever feel like
We
there's
have
a
about
dumb.
5 or 10 more minutes because I'm outside of the coffee shop right now. So
Yeah,
we have
fire
some
away.
more
Fire
time.
away with
Yeah.
anything.
So if you have any questions, please do ask. And just so everyone knows that's still on here that is not part of GGU, you don't have to be a part of GGU to be in the Level Up Business Lab group, because this is open to anyone and everyone that just wants to learn. And either you are brand new at wholesaling, or you are completely a developer like Gigi is, and just always, teachers are always the students, students are always the teachers, and we're here to learn and grow together. So don't feel like you have to be in the program. GGU has our own implementation calls on Wednesdays and on Saturdays, which are really long and really intense.
Danny.
And we've learned, Jesus, like in 1 month, we've got ladies that have contracts already done that have went from nothing to something and have been continuing to grow. And it's just really exciting to see the progress. And so this group is just about learning together and growing together. So just want to put that out
100%.
there.
Thank you for that,
100%.
Christina. And thank you for Scarlett and Grace. I'm so glad that you did that. And by the grace of God, I was able to see you with your Facebook with when you branched off a little bit. So I'm really thankful.
Kate, I know
Happy to
some
see you, Kate. Really am.
I know some
Thank you.
phenomenal people in high level investors in Philadelphia and South Jersey. And I
Okay.
actually know a couple girls that I've helped that are doing stuff in South Jersey and right outside of Conshohocken.
Okay.
So I'll hook you up with them. I'll get them hooked up with you. Christina, I don't know what you got going on. Michelle, what part of PA are you in? Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate it.
Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Scranton Wilkesboro. Okay. All right.
Yep.
I know a couple people in Reading. Reading's a good market.
Oh, yeah, about
Um,
an hour and a half for me.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a perfect opportunity for you. I got a couple great leads in actually, you know what?
We
Michelle,
can
let's
meet there, Michelle. It's an hour
you
and a half from me.
you and
Oh,
Kate meet there.
awesome.
You and
I
Kate meet
would
there.
definitely.
Michelle, I have some great connections in Reading, and I have a couple leads up there. Maybe we'll do something like you get up there, you get some boots on the ground for me, and we'll go JV on a deal or something like that. How's that sound?
Sounds awesome.
All right, we'll
Mike,
get you
thank
started.
you. Yep.
Absolutely. Christina, you have to get with Cindy Gillespie. These are both in New Orleans. All right, you still got to link up. Yeah, guys, anything, ask away. Ask away any question. I don't care what it is. If you don't know what an acronym is, if you don't know who to watch on YouTube, any of that kind of stuff. I got a couple minutes. I know this group ain't shy.
Yeah, don't
I
be
know.
shy, y'all. Liz, do you have a question?
Is
I
it okay
know.
if I voice record this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And the
I'm not
replay
gonna.
will be sent out also.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh,
Absolutely.
great, great.
Mhm.
Don't disappoint me and tell me this group is shy, please.
I think they're just tired.
I know it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't closed a deal yet. It's kind of frustrating because I've been training. I mean, thank you that I mean, at least I sat one whole weekend one time just on comping because I was like, I got to wrap my head around this, and that was couple months ago. But I just have not been able to close yet. So it's been
So Kate, let's look at it. Let's look at it from a different perspective, right? Because if you get to that point, that's why I was saying if you look at comping in terms of box checking, you're just going to smash your head off the wall, right?
yeah.
Because even if we had the exact same property, are two properties ever alike, right? Did the same
Yeah.
builder do it? Were the same materials used? I mean, we're talking about like finite minutia,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
No. So if you just look at it as far as like, oh my gosh, I have to get here to check this box. You got to go from the back, right? You have it. Trust me, you have it. Okay, I'm telling you, trust me, you have it. When I first started running comps, oh my gosh, I cannot tell you guys. I'll call one of my mentors one day and I'll get them in one of these things or get them to do a video with me and them or something like that, and you guys will laugh so hard. I mean, I was a mess. I was a mess. I literally when I would knock on doors, when I would see distressed properties, I would knock on doors and I would stand away from the door like this because I thought somebody was going to shoot me through the door. I didn't know what to do. And I'll get there and they sent me out one time. I didn't know, but they already basically had the deal. Like it was family stuff going on, right? Like they had the deal locked up already, right? So they sent me out on a dummy mission and they're like, hey Lou, go lock this deal up. I'm like, I got it. And they're like, you can't go over, I forget what it was, 190 or something like that, you know. And I get in there and homeowner, big scary guy, and I'm like, I'm 20 years old. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I'm like, so sir, how much do you want for your property? He's like, I want 190. And I'm like, how's 220 sound? Sounds good. I'm like, all right, here, sign this up, you know, and then they're like, oh, it's already good, right? So I'm telling you guys, it's you got to make mistakes, right? You got to learn. You got to fail fast, right? It's fail forward, fail fast. Have urgency, okay? And you know just go about it correctly, right? Because if you guys go about it, we're not used car salesmen, okay? We're not trying to get. There is no better feeling, Kate. You say you haven't done a deal yet. You will, and when you do, you're going to get a single mom with 3 kids that was going into pre-foreclosure, and she's going to hug you and kiss you so tight at the closing table, and she's going to be crying her eyes out, and it's all going to be worth it.
Well, we have two. I mean, I've had a few contracts. They're just not landed yet. So they're not
So
they're not finalized yet. So hopefully Brittany's still on here. I don't know if she is. We're partnering up. So we have one in Oklahoma, one in Michigan right now under contract that we're trying to work through. So
So is
Michigan,
it,
we
so
might roll.
it's signed, like you have
Oh yeah, we have
contracts.
signed contracts. Hmm.
So what's the issue right now? Are the numbers
The
wrong, or is
numbers.
is it finding the end buyer?
It's finding the end buyer because we think the numbers are wrong.
Okay.
That's our guess. So,
Okay. So if
you
you guys
know,
want, you can send it over to me. I'll take a look at it. I'll analyze the deal with you. Um, if
I
it
got
is that, go ahead.
so I got some feedback on Oklahoma. I'll send you over Michigan because Michigan
Yeah.
we might end up holding, but we'll see.
Listen, that's the thing too. That's the beauty of this, right? You can find exit strategies,
Yeah.
because sometimes you are going to back yourself into a corner, and that's okay, right? You just be transparent with people, right? Everybody goes about things a little differently, but I had a contract I locked up 2 weeks ago, down here. We got it ridiculous. I mean, just we're supposed to have a walkthrough tomorrow. Um, you know, we locked it up for 80K, right? The ARV on the thing's like 240.
Nice.
I already have my contractors out there to walk it, right? The rehab's like 45, 50 grand. And we just got really lucky. You know what I mean? It was just a seller that was in full desperation mode. We got a great qualified lead. We worked it from top to bottom. Um, and we analyze this property every day, and we're like, do we wholesale it? Do we take it down? Do we, right? Like, you just have so many exit strategies. So
Yeah.
you know, let the market also be your feedback as well, right? So this is a really good learning lesson for you, right? Because you're either having one of a multitude of issues, but they're not necessarily bad problems to have, right?
Right.
Because what's the alternative? Sit on the sideline and just, hey, hope one falls in my lap where I can't fail?
Right.
Nah, we don't do that, right? So your numbers are either crooked, and
Oh, I lost them.
Uh, we lost them.
Uh-oh. Spaghetti-O. Where did he go?
This
I bet he's
computer went to
talking.
sleep.
I bet he's talking to himself.
Yeah. Kate, just a word of advice. One of the things I tell my girls is if you're unsure of something when you're comping, use the old attaché where you look at a property, look at the neighborhood, find out what properties are selling for in that neighborhood,
Hmm.
split it by 50%, and then minus the whatever the estimated rehab is. Okay. Sometimes you don't want to have that analysis paralysis when it comes to comping. So instead of beating yourself up, just look at the numbers in the neighborhood right around it, like he showed you on that map.
Yeah.
Pull three of them, average it out by three, and divide that ARV into two. That will give you a 50% LTV. From that 50% LTV minus your rehab cost.
Okay. Divide
It,
that by 3. I mean, divide that by 2.
mm-hmm.
That's the 50%. Okay. And then
Deduct your
deduct
whatever
the
your
rehab. Yeah.
yeah. And that would be your best offer. That way you're starting low so that if there is some situation that you're caught up in, you know that you will end up at the right price for your end
Right.
buyer.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
It's
sense.
a cheat sheet, but
Yeah.
sometimes it works and it helps you better than sitting there and be paralyzed behind your computer trying to say, oh God, did I lock it up at the right price,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
that's great. Yeah, we really want to help these women. There's two women involved in this, one in
Mhm.
Michigan, one in Oklahoma. And we even said, we talked to one of the South Jersey REI guys that belongs to the group here. He
Mhm.
helped us out with the one in Oklahoma because she's really she hasn't paid her mortgage. She's behind. She owes too much. The rehab's going to be crazy. So we're trying to figure out what strategy will be best for her. We have a title company involved now, so we'll see. But she owes what she owes. So there's
Yeah.
nothing there's nothing we could do about that. And the house does need some work. So
Mm.
a lot of work, it looks like.
He just
So,
texted me his phone died, y'all.
oh, well, he
He's
was
like, I
great
feel
though.
so silly.
Uh, he was great though. Thank you so much. You guys are incredible. Thanks for opening this up to people that are not in your class.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, I wanted to keep it going even while I was in the rain, and then they thought it was too valuable to keep it, and so they kind of gave me the boot with this. And so I said, well, I could do it on Facebook. It's open to everybody. And I became friends very good with Lydia Renee, who LouLou was talking about earlier, who does the Wholesale 101 for Newbies group, which is also a really great tool. Her and we talk often, a lot, almost as much as her and LouLou do. And then I decided that the three of us stayed really good friends. And then in the beginning, I started getting comps with LouLou. He became my one-to-one mentor. So he would give me little projects to do and little assignments. So basically, all the properties he'd already had underwritten or had already gotten under contract and already went to close, he would give them to me, and then I would do them, and then I would send them back to him, and he would tell me where I went wrong. And then that was while I was in the rain program, because I was like pulling my hair out trying to understand what am I doing wrong? Why can't I close
Right,
my deals?
right.
Then that's when Gigi came into my life, and it was towards the end of the immersion in the rain program where I was like last migraine of the 3-day immersion, and she saw my face, and I was just like, what the F is a sub two wrap? What in the world?
Right.
And why do they leave it for the N? And that was it. And then and I was like, I can't be the only person that's freaking out over this right now. And sure
Yeah.
as shit, I definitely wasn't. And so
No, you.
I went and I hosted a call in rain for sub two with Gigi, and here we are,
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
now she's holding everyone's hand. We started GGU, and we provide the credit repair program. We provide the profit calculator, so you can understand the difference between the rental property, if it's a good rental property or if it's a better wholesale. And then you would figure out what your rehab is based on the square footage. And then you have the big 6+1, which is the septic tank, so 7. And then we provide like the legal team, all the guidance, and we do twice a week immersion calls. And then we have a transaction coordinating team, a disposition team, acquisitions team, everyone's acquisitions, because you get your leads and we just give them to you, and then you just go for it. And
Yeah,
then we
Candace
go
was
through all of
explaining
that.
that. That's amazing that you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Candace Johnson, actually, she was in my accountability group and she invited us. And I'm so glad she did. I don't know if she's still on, but yeah, and she reminded me tonight, thankfully, because I was involved in
Yeah.
this other property. And I'm like, it was so glad that she did that. But
You can
yeah,
come every Monday to this. Like, don't ever feel like you have to be in anything. Just come. Just come and
I
learn. I
wish
mean,
I could be. I just don't have the funding now because I'm broke from the other
no, this
stuff.
is free. This is
No, I
free.
know.
You
No, I
just
wish
come
I
and do this.
No, I wish I could do GG University. That's what I mean. GGU, like that would be incredible to have that kind of hand holding. Um, so I'm in the accelerated program and I have a coach with them and it's.
I know. Well, don't pay anymore.
I'm
Don't
not,
pay anymore. Save
not,
your money,
not,
mama. Save your
I
money,
am.
and get your deal. Close your deals. Pay
Yep.
what you got to pay. Get out.
And move
And then
on.
when
Yeah.
you're ready, you can join us, and then we'll
Yep.
take you from there on up.
I
Don't
sure
even
will.
worry about it.
Yeah, I
We
sure
got
will.
you. We got you and all the other sisters and brothers that come and join us here too.
Thank you.
Kate, your lady in Oklahoma, I know she does owe what she owes, but sometimes you can step in and deal with the mortgage company yourself
We're
and
doing
get
that
them to push
tomorrow.
it down.
We have a call with them
Yeah.
tomorrow to decide. We're going to find out tomorrow if there's a loan modification already on the property. And if not, will they do a loan modification now? If not, then we're going to try the short sale. We already have the title agent ready to go with the short sale to do the title search. So we're going to wait for the call tomorrow to decide our next step.
Yeah. Especially she bought upside down. That could be a big bargaining factor for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But until you speak to them, you won't really know what happened there because there are programs. Do you know what type of loan is it? Was it a FHA or just straight conventional from a bank?
I believe it's just from a bank because they were working with her
Mm,
due to her circumstance. And so they did not send her into foreclosure because they were working with her. So
mm-hmm,
we don't know everything like you said, when we talk to them tomorrow,
mm-hmm.
we'll have it. So we're going to do a three-way with her. My partner's going to actually call because I'm at my W-2 tomorrow. So the bank, the seller, and my partner. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.
You got this.
Thank you so much. This was so helpful tonight. I'm having a problem with this chair.
Oh, good. And then he'll be back. He's probably gonna jump back on to say goodnight to you all because he's like, "Should I jump back on?" I'm like, "If he
Poor
wants to hear
guy.
you're
Yeah,
chatting."
yeah. Well, he was awesome. Everybody probably wants to thank him. He was really, really good. I mean, it was
Yep,
great to hear him, to walk
yep.
And
through
he
it like
really
he did.
is available to everybody. Like everybody, like he will respond to you, and he will make the time. He will talk to you. He will sit down with you. He'll give you little projects to do so you can better understand it. Like for Michelle, he will literally help you out. Look, speak of the devil, there he is. There he is. He'll tell you himself. Lulu, I was just talking about you yet again, as usual. And I was just saying how you gave me like little projects to like work on to learn how to do comps. And I said that they can get homework from you so that you can you got to unmute yourself.
Yeah,
When's he going to tell us about the black t-shirts and the long sleeve?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
next week, Kate. That's
Ah,
next
okay.
week, girl.
yeah.
All right. I'll try to be patient.
Now, Kate, basically the premise behind that is, um, the kind of how I described it to Christina was, you're gonna have properties that exactly like what we just went over. They're all gonna look somewhat similar, right? And then it's up to you to decipher the difference between what I used for Christina was, you have three different brand shirts, all in the same color, but then you might have short sleeve, long sleeve, one with no sleeves, right? And they all work depending on what you want to use them for, but they all have differences as well, right? So you can qualify them all because they're black. You can qualify them all because they're sports brand or something like that, right? But the difference is you might have one that's a long sleeve, one that's a short sleeve, and one that has no sleeves. All right. So that's kind of a perfect example of where we were just at, with the one that bed and bath was exactly the same, layout was exactly the same, but square footage was different, right? So it's just things like that, paying attention to it, and all you have to do is hear somebody give you one different perspective one time for the information to be able to digest it. That's all it is,
Yeah.
right? And like I said, I keep reiterating and hitting on it, but you guys are just so solid and so locked in. That's why I can kind of come in and just say, hey, here's my perspective, this is my lens, right? And maybe looking through it this way will give you those answers that you, because every one of you is right there. Like, you're just right there. You need to hear one piece of information on one day at the right time. That's it. You know what I mean? Because I told
Mhm.
you before, I'm some of the people I help, they ask me what a flip is. Like, what is a flip? And I'm like, well, you buy it distressed or you buy it at a discount and then you renovate it and then you sell it for a profit, which concept seems pretty easy, but to them it's not. But in their world, they're an expert at what they do, right?
Right.
So you can't look at people and say, well, you should know this. No, you shouldn't. You're not supposed to know any of this.
Right.
So that's I would rather see is ask me a million questions before you get frustrated and just say this in for me, right? Because it's for everybody, but it's for the people who have a thirst for information and can fail fast and fail forward, right?
Mhm. I
If you
like
can,
that.
if
Yep.
you can do those things, you're going to be successful,
Oh
right?
my God, we say that all the time.
I love it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard you say it earlier. Go
yeah,
forward. I love it.
yeah. I mean, like I said, my partner and I, our business model is solvable problem, right? If it's a solvable problem, we will work it to the death because there's a solution at the end of it, right? And that translates directly to, Gigi's taught you guys all this stuff is how many exit strategies you have, right? So, Kate, you might feel like you're in trouble on one end, but there might be somebody out there who's looking for exactly what you have.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
Now, you're going to run into issues every time if you get lazy and don't learn your numbers, right? But like I said, if you butcher your first couple of deals, that's okay, right? You just don't want to be the person consistently out there that's locking up deals at retail and then sending them off to people.
Right.
Because again, you're just not going to get the feedback that you're not going to be able to sustain a business, let alone scale it, right? Um,
Kate,
and
I
that's
butchered my first five,
you should,
so don't feel bad.
you
You
should.
learn from it. Yeah. As long as I'm
Five.
learning from it, I feel like it's going to be good. Yeah. I
Yep.
learn something every time. So,
That's what it's all about, and be honest with yourself. Have those genuine conversations, right? Because we love to have this inflated outlook on ourselves a lot of the time, right? Is where like I don't really have to do that. I'll learn it or I'll figure it out as I go. But all you're really going to be doing is just putting band-aids on bullet holes until something really sinks your ship,
yeah.
I
right?
like that.
And it will happen, okay? Because this is, as far as volatility goes, this is up there with like day trading cryptocurrency and stuff like that, right? It's the thing about this is it stands the test of time if you learn the lessons, learn the math, and you make the right networking connections, right? Um, that's just how it is. That's just black and white, right? So, if you guys all just keep doing what you're doing, I mean, this group is amazing. Like I feel like I'm just so happy to be here and be able to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Because it's so well organized, it's so squared away. Everybody is here to learn and listen, and it's not, yeah, let me, you're not gonna believe these 20 deals that I did. Well, like, listen, what are you going to learn going forward, right? I support everybody. I want to see everybody win, but I just can't relate to people who don't want to continue to learn. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I can't relate in any shape, fashion, or form. So, um, that's a position that we're all in collectively, and we're learning something new from each other every day. You know what I mean? So, just a great resource, everybody here, and just like I said, just stay hungry, stay after it, and put the offers in, right? Like get the rocks out of your mouth. And if you're an introverted person and you're not very outgoing and that's just not your twist or not your stilo or whatever you want to call it, there's channels and avenues to work where, find somebody who specializes in acquisitions, right? Vet them, partner with them, and then become a disposition expert. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look at Christina. She's funny. And that's it. You know what I mean? And then all you guys
I'm
have,
Dispo team.
that's it, right? Because I mean, really, it's the scare. It's such a scary concept. When how many of us have been on the phone and we're telephone people, right? We love people. We love personalities. We could talk to the pizza man for 2 hours, right? And then when that freaking phone is ringing, when we got a seller on the end of the line, and we're like, I could die at any moment,
It's
right?
true. It's true.
I still get like that. I really do. Like when I know that I have to pitch a creative deal to somebody who's a little bit older, I'm like, well, I already know how this is gonna go. They're just gonna let me just have it. Oh, hey, sir, have you ever heard about a concept where you stay on your mortgage note and I basically take over your property? I give you a couple dollars and then, and they're like,
Exactly.
oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? Why don't you stop prank calling me? I'm like, listen, I promise I'm not, right? So, um, no, it's a fine line. You guys are gonna get it. You're there. I mean, I'm telling you, these are all right there, and the big thing with me is don't ever feel like if you don't understand something that you can't say you don't understand it, right? Because trust me, it took me, guys, I can't even tell you. I mean, seriously, I literally can't even tell you how long it took for me to understand the concept, right? And it was just wall after wall after wall after wall, and I'm like, look at Stacy coming out, right? And that was it. And you don't have any wins until you do, right? And it's like anything else in life, right? You just keep plugging away and just keep moving forward because, you know, you might like I said, you might watch 100 videos and you don't understand anything. You know what I mean? But you watch that one video at the right time and it's like, okay, everything looks good and on the up and up from here. You know what I mean? So it's just a gauge too, because we all learn differently. That's another huge thing is a lot of the, especially the guru kind of stuff. That's why I really love this group because it doesn't feel like it's a pitch. You know what I mean? It doesn't, it's all collectively, everybody wants to accomplish the same thing. Whereas I've been to them, I've been to masterminds, I've been to the 10X conferences in Vegas and all that shit. And it's like, you just right, and everybody does it together because you'll get there and you'll feel like if you don't fit into this one size fits all model, you cannot succeed in this business, right? You have to be aggressive on the phones. You have to call people and do this and you have to do this and you have to do that. That's not how this stuff works. You find out what you got going on, and I'm a big believer in I hate the word master and I hate the word expert. Um, don't believe them. Christina, can you read me what Liz said?
I keep hitting walls when I thought I was going somewhere.
Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it
Yeah.
goes. Liz, that's how it goes. I'm telling you, you're going to hit wall after wall,
Oh
right?
my God, it's so frustrating. You think that there's going to be a contract, you hear all the right words, you hear
Yeah.
everything, and then it
Yeah.
just starts falling apart.
Well, Liz, let me ask you this, right? Don't you think if it was that easy, everybody be doing it?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Don't you think there's qualities that you have that other people don't, and that's why you're still sitting in this room?
Absolutely. And
So
I
you
have the
gotta
drive, but
that's it.
you have your moments.
And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Liz, it's not about Gigi will tell you guys this, she knows. It's not about what you can do, it's literally about how much you can sustain. Like how much can you sustain? I hate the phrase, we've all heard this a million times, mental toughness. I don't like that phrase because it insinuates that you're born with it. I love resiliency. That's my word. I love resiliency, and that's kind of how I built my business and structure my life is repeatedly showing up every day when you have done nothing but take losses, right? Because Liz, this is a market where you're gonna take losses. This is not a favorable market, okay? This runs in ebbs and flows and it runs in cycles. So if you hang in there and you stick with this and you learn, by the time the money making cycle comes, your competitions, they're going to be like, how'd Liz get up there? Because they're locking deals up right now. I'm telling you, they're locking deals up. They're showing up and they're getting checks at the closing table. And here you are hitting brick walls. But I promise you, it's not going to be like this. You just got to hang in there.
Oh, I will. I'm not going anywhere. Thank you.
Genevieve said it perfect. Not a get rich. Yeah, contrary to what everybody and their mother tells you guys,
Mhm.
this is not a get rich quick scheme. It is just not. All right. Now there's facets to it, right? You have slow money, fast money, and medium money. Don't get me wrong, but fast money is still the biggest purchase anybody's ever going to make, and you got to bring it through every legal document you can possibly find under earth. The title's still got to come back clean. If it's not, you got to work that out, right? Think about the concept of wholesale. Okay. We got to lock up a property from somebody who is in distress, get it for pennies on the dollar, hope it's not a tear down or if it is, whatever, there's money to be made in that, but I'm just, and then we have to move it to somebody who has the money and has the wherewithal and the skill set to take on said property and turn it into this beautiful creation and then take it. kiss $1 million to get your friends out. You ain't lying, Gigi. You ain't lying there. But yeah, just like I said, Liz, it's just I'm telling you, it's something that you know you almost adapt to it. It not to sound corny, but you don't necessarily. It's like anything else in life, right? You don't become a stronger person. You just adapt to heavier weight, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I shouldn't, as a bad example, you obviously do become stronger, but what I'm trying to say is basically like it's adaptability. The things that would have crushed you 5 years ago, it's not like it's not like they weren't devastating things. You just grew skin thick enough to withstand them now.
Right. I get it.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same in this game. You know what I mean? And like I said, master exit strategies. Figure out what that means. What does exit strategy means? Right? I enter into a property that's distressed for X amount of dollars, and then how do I get out of it and get to the closing table with a check? That's all it is. Or cash flow a month, or appreciation, or write-offs on taxes. That stuff will all come. That you guys will have that down too. So yeah, like I said, you guys all got my number. You got all my contact information. I'm here. I'll work with anytime, anything. Gloria, what are you doing up there? You've been quiet all night. What's going on? Check her out.
You're muted, baby.
I love it. She's in South Florida. She's chilling. Yeah, so
Can I share a quick story with everybody that might be encouraging to those on the call?
yeah.
I have a friend I've been friends with her since high school for 40 some years, whatever it's been. She just decided she's got to sell her house and move a couple months ago. And I said, look, I'm doing this now. I'm a real estate investor. Let me run some numbers. And let me see if I can help you. She's like, no, I don't know what I want to do yet. Him hauling around. Long story short, I had lunch with her yesterday. She's finally moving. And she went through 3 different sellers, won the contract. The guy got out of the contract. He just was nitpicking all kinds of stuff. The next one wanted a ton of different repairs done before she could sell it. And she put it right on the market. And then she said, it's been such a nightmare. I've been back and forth. And then the realtor made $15,000. And I was like, I said, Linda, look, I told you, let me run some numbers and let me see what I could do. She goes, I looked up investors and they said that they lowball. And I said, really? I said, because let me ask you something. You just went through 3 months of hell to try to sell your house, and you're complaining that the realtor got 15,000 on top of it. I said, so if you could have sold it and for 25 or $50,000 less and did not have any of that headache and didn't have to move all the stuff you didn't want, would you have done it? She goes, yes, I would have done it. So we are helping people. They just don't know it yet.
Yep.
So Kate, so think about in terms of the 3 things we talked about before: speed, convenience, or price. How perfectly would that have fell into her situation,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep.
Because you can never have all 3.
Yep.
If you do, you have the money to fix up your property perfectly and put it on the MLS. You don't need us,
Right.
right? And that's
Yep.
another thing. That's another thing too that we don't avoid. All right. We do not avoid that conversation as well,
Yeah.
because we're not used car salesmen. Okay. We give people the best options. That's what we do. We find
Yep.
solutions. If their
Yep.
best option is to put $20,000 into this thing and relist it on MLS, we tell them that.
Yeah. She
All right.
wouldn't even listen. She wouldn't even listen. She went and ran with it. And now she's
I
like,
know.
oh man, I can't believe I did that.
I
So
know.
yeah.
It's a hard lesson to learn again, but
Yeah.
it's like anything else. Think about when you first decided to come into this, right? You were probably under the impression that you needed $500,000 to get started. Right?
Yeah. I didn't know what I thought.
Man, I gotta be so rich. Like I'm looking at the Donald Trumps of the world. Those are the only
Right.
people that can afford real estate, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
that's all we hear
Exactly.
about. That's
Yep.
all we hear. And then, like I said, you meet people like Gigi, and you get access to communities like this, and they genuinely help you create wealth, that never dies. And
Yeah.
that's
It's
where
amazing.
that's where it really comes into play, and that's big too. Is like I said, mirroring the market is huge. It really is. Yeah, yeah, Liz, bless. I mean, really, if you guys
Kate, you
get
can
to
send
the,
us your deal. We can see if we can help you move that thing.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And like I said, you got to think too, Kate, is mirroring the market is huge. I cannot harp on that enough. I cannot harp on it enough. I really can't. If you create affordable housing for somebody right now, you're going to make money,
Yeah.
right? If you can vertically integrate a skill set into your business right now, you're going to make money, And I don't say it's time to work hard to scare you guys away because you're already doing that, right? I say that too because Gigi went through it. I've been through it. There was a point in time where literally you could lock up a property for whatever number you wanted to lock it up at. And then 2 weeks later, you could get a cash offer $100,000 over asking, sight unseen with no inspection.
Yeah, that was the
And
good old days when investors were stupid.
yeah, yeah. And it was
Before
it
the
was
age of AI and computers.
it was sick. It was sick. I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
it was. It
Gigi probably
was.
went through the same stuff I went through. I mean, there was
Yeah.
points in time where I always did all my work permitted. I always did, even when I could
Hmm.
have saved $50,000. I always did my stuff the right way. And I would sit there and watch some of these people, and I would see how much money they were. I know a guy that made $758,000 wholesaling a commercial building.
Wow.
How the hell does that happen?
Wow.
How do you find a spread that big? And it was 100% feasible. Because normally there gets to a certain point, like you might run into a situation where the property gets appraised, or you might have a title company, or in Georgia we have closing attorneys where they're like, that ain't gonna fly. I've seen that happen before, right? But I mean, I saw it, and not that we didn't believe it, but we're like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, what did you do
Yeah,
to?
right.
And it was like I found the right property at the right time, and the guy bought it sight unseen.
Wow.
And like I said, Gigi and I, we've seen that, and the people that don't put the work in and learn and do what you guys are doing, to Liz, they won't be here in 2 to 3 years. They won't. They will not, because this market is just killing everybody. I mean, myself included. I'm not doing anything. I'm staying at marginally even pretty much at this point. You know what I mean? Because you have people are incentivized to not pay their rent. Eviction processes are. I mean, you borderline have to hire an attorney at this point for $10,000 to get an eviction done. In certain states. I mean, Gigi will tell you guys it's disgusting. Landlords, we got, I mean, crushed with COVID and the market rebound, and then market was okay in March, and then if you bought a property in March and then you put it back on the market to list it or flip it in June, you were freaking half upside down because it was that quick. It's just, I mean, there's so many things, and you're just gonna have so many days where it breaks your spirit. But like I said, if you master the basics and master the principles now, you guys are just going to be, you're going to cruise into wealth. I mean, you're literally just going to just drive into wealth. You know what I mean? Because all the shiny object stuff you see now, the subject to the seller finance, the wraps, the lease backs, the novations, Gigi probably knows 10 more of them that I can't even think of right now.
Like
And
35 of
yeah, 35 of them.
them. She's
Right.
unmuted.
Yeah. 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 I'm telling you, in 5 years, you're going to have 100 no ones. Right, especially if they get this 50-year mortgage stuff, you're gonna have 10 more new strategies that every guru that what Gigi, what's the other one? The big one now is on pad. Is it pad split or
Pad split.
and I
Pad
know they're
split. That's
killing
the
it.
one that's killing it.
They're
But
killing it.
it's okay
I mean,
because the thing around that is that I'm watching the market right now, and I know the thing that's coming in is going to be, like you said, you hit one of them where it's affordable housing. Affordable housing is
mm,
it's coming so big that the government is giving you $25 million a year to nip that market, and
yeah,
I'm going after it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm right behind you. I really am. I wasn't planning on doing it at all, but one of my mentors, he he's kind of semi-retired now. I mean, he'll pick up a property and just add it to the portfolio once in a while. He's got a $3 million beach house on the inlet in Key West. Like it's just spectacular.
Mm,
One of his daughters, he bought a instead of her, I forget what school she went to. It was in Orlando, and instead of her living on campus, he bought a property there that was like a six
mhm,
bedroom, right?
mhm,
And he bought it. I mean, just at like pennies on the dollar. Slap some, landlord special mud, a little bit of
mhm,
drywall, some mud, and some paint, right? And what he did was he let it appreciate for the 4 years she was there, and he was going to sell it. And instead of doing that, he kept it and he has it as a co-living situation with six different tenants paying like $1,200 a month
mhm.
right now. And I think his
Yep.
mortgage payment's like $3,200.
Mhm.
I mean, so he's cash flowing after everything. He's cash flowing like 2,800 bucks
Yep.
just on that one property that he bought for his daughter and turned it into his retirement cash cow.
Mhm.
You
That's
know, and
exactly
like
it.
I
That's
called
it.
him on the phone. I'm like, listen, you gotta teach me what's going on here. He was like, oh, you'll learn it. You'll learn. That's how he treats me. You'll learn. You'll figure it out. I'm like,
No,
all right,
that's
well,
true. What
yeah.
he did is real because I'm dealing with a property in Texas kind of the same way, but this
Hmm.
property is like this guy took and maximized the land, and I'm just laughing all the way to the bank. That it's like 2 acres, and he put like so many tiny houses on it,
Yeah.
and that shit is like cash flowing 50K a month.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's out there. You just gotta know your market, know your creative ends, your exits, you gotta go with the ebb and tide and flow that's going on. Otherwise, you'd be crushed in this business. You
I,
Mm.
gotta
ho- I
evolve
hope
with
you
the business.
I hope you guys heard that one that Gigi just said there. The first one she said was know your market, right? We fall in love with virtual wholesaling, especially if you have lead generation and you're getting all these leads from all across the country. We have this thought process is more is better,
Mhm.
where in actuality, if you can understand one, two, three markets and you know them like the back of your hand, you create relationships there, you network there, you are a resource and you are a reliable resource for people, you will make money hand over fist. All right. So what Gigi touched on there, guys, was something that I really wanted to make sure we got across today, and I hope I did when I said mirror the market. That's
Mm-hmm. You
exactly
did.
what Gigi's talking about is understanding markets like the back of your hand, going there, showing your face, creating relationships, right? Networking, knowing what moves this way, knowing what moves that way, right? Because as important as our comps are, which they are, right? Sometimes market knowledge, it
Mhm.
it doesn't supersede it, but it is a monster variable. Okay. I've done this before and it's breaking rules 101, but I've listened to some market knowledge and made some nice chunks of money. I wouldn't recommend that if you're taking a loan out. And I wouldn't recommend that if it's money you can't afford to lose. But if you ever get into those situations where you think about where you want to take a shot, which is where we do not play from, we do not work in variables and in theory. Okay. We work in cold hard facts and numbers. That's what we do, right? Um, but like Gigi said, if you can master a market like that and have a concept of that, think about the place you grew up in, right? If you spend a decade or more in one place, you can, what's the best sandwich anywhere you can find, right? You know the answer to that question, and you probably know the person that makes the sandwich,
Mhm.
right? So
Yep.
huge, huge, huge. You guys, if you guys take nothing else, forget the comps, right? You know the comps, you know how to comp. If you take nothing else from this, take that. Market knowledge, man. Oh my gosh, market knowledge. Forget
Mhm.
shiny object syndrome. Learn the basics, learn the markets, and like Gigi said, ebbs and flows. Lock your deals up at numbers. Find one legitimate cash buyer in every market you work in and make them fat. That's it. That's real estate.
That's right. You feed them, they feed you.
That's it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You guys are
But
right there.
you said it best, little, and I couldn't have said it any better. All these gurus out there telling you this, that, and that, but they won't come down off the pedestal and hold your hand and walk you through the mud and water and make you kiss the
Mhm.
frogs along with them. You got to be with somebody that's gonna truly help you and want
Yeah.
to see you successful, you know.
Guys,
But
listen to me. User, and and I know Gigi, we're tooting each other's horn right now, but I really mean this sincerely. You guys are so lucky because I will tell you, and Gigi will tell you, a lot of these gurus, listen to me, and I'm not talking bad about anybody, but
mm-mm.
they are marketing specialists,
Yeah.
not real estate specialists. Okay. Now, do they do real estate efficiently and do they do it well? Yeah, sure. Some of them do, right? But these guys are marketers. They market like nobody's business. That is what they do. They're bold, they're loud, they're enticing, they're controversial. They make you feel like I cannot miss out on what they're teaching, right?
Mhm.
And then what do? You pay $10,000 and you learn the same shit that was on the Jerry Norton video from 6 years ago, right? They just copy and paste this stuff because it's universal. But what Gigi's giving you guys is this platform and this network, right? It's a safety blanket that you can't even comprehend how lucky you all are, right? Which I say that knowing that you all do. Okay. So, use it and work fast, work efficiently, right? And like I always say, fail forward and fail fast, right? Because urgency gets rewarded. You're going to get burned if you make snap calls, but you're going to create wealth that way as well, right? Because the big dogs, you know, your name might not be being said at the table yet, but when it does get said at that table, you got to be ready to go. All right. So Liz, get ready now because they're saying your name in a room that you don't know about yet. So you got to be ready when they call your number. All right. All right.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah. So listen, guys. Any questions you have? I think Christina put my number in there. Text me, call me, put my Facebook thing in there. Reach out to me on there too. Yeah, Stacy, absolutely. Stacy, is the GA stand for Georgia?
Yeah, we in Georgia.
What part of Georgia are you in?
Stacy in Georgia. Right, Stace?
I'm in Tucker.
Who's in Georgia?
Gigi
I
and
am.
me, Stacy.
Mhm.
Stacy's in Tucker. Gigi, where are you at?
Buckhead.
All right, I'm in Savannah.
Oh,
Oh,
In
nice.
Savannah, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We got it.
Okay.
All right. We'll all get together. Yeah, absolutely,
Oh,
Liz. Anytime. You got my number. Call me.
Christina's gonna be here for Thanksgiving. I'm dragging her
I
down here.
will be there for
All right.
oh,
Thanksgiving.
nice.
Let's get together.
Lulu, what's
You
your
got it.
what's your Facebook? I'm looking in the chat. I don't see it. I have your number.
I
What's
will
your
put it in
Facebook?
the
Yeah,
chat right
Christina
now.
will put it
Don't
in.
worry.
Cool.
You
Thank you.
guys,
Patience.
you
My
guys in
granddaughter's in Georgia.
what part of Georgia is she in?
She's in Griffin,
Okay.
which is
Oh,
way
okay.
out over by the airport, an
It
hour
ain't
past the
that
Yeah,
airport.
far out.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm
Listen, when I'm driving
still.
from New Jersey, it's way far out.
I know.
True, true.
I'm here until I'm actually getting. I'm working on my house a little bit now. While we're on the subject, I'll tell you guys. If you own a home and you are thinking about listing it, be very careful with the things that you add as far as what is and what used to be value points. Okay. Because you're not going to see a return on your money right now. All right. So don't throw in a $20,000 kitchen thinking you're getting $30,000 out of it when you list. All right. Um,
That's right. If it don't look like what's in the neighborhood where you got your property, don't darn add it to the
That's what we're
property.
dealing with right
don't
now
do it.
with the Italians'
Yep.
property.
Yeah.
Two
Don't do
hundred
it.
thousand dollars more
Yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
beautifulness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's his Facebook. It's in the
Yeah.
chat.
Guys, look me up, send me messages, anything like that, any resources you need, anything. Like I said, I'm in Gigi, who was it? Gigi and Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be in Georgia until I want to say probably early March.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm moving down to Ormond Beach. I'm buying a beach house.
Good
So
for
Oh
you.
yeah.
yeah, I'm going down.
Ah,
Nice.
right south of St. Augustine, a little quiet
Uh-huh.
neighborhood.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna
I
surf
know
my
the
way to it.
area.
So
I know the area. I know
yeah,
the
Well, if you're
area.
passing through New Orleans anytime soon, come visit.
I'm going
You
to.
coming to Georgia, so you gonna we gonna sit down having some coffee.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
up there and meet you guys. I'm gonna drive up when you all come down. We'll all get together. Um,
Definitely.
I'm
Get
gonna
I
be
can't.
you,
in. I'll be in
Savannah.
Georgia between Christmas and New Year's.
And listen, tell me where all you stay at, and tell me where everybody stays at because I go to conferences all over. I go,
Mm,
me and a couple of my boys, we fly all over the place to play golf and stuff like that too. So I'm around. Chances are I'll be close to a hub where you're near. Gloria,
mm-hmm.
Florida. Gloria, what part of South Florida are you in?
Plantation.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I was supposed to go to a conference in Miami. I want to say it was the 5th to the 7th or something like that. I wasn't able to end up going, but I'm always around. So guys, let me know where you're at. And anytime I'm there, um, we'll tune in. We'll go out to lunch or we'll go out to dinner or something like that. Not,
Actually, four of our girls are in Florida with Gloria. You have Gloria, Chrislyn, Liz is those three are the three harder boys that we have down there in Florida.
Liz, where are you at? What part?
Did Liz cut
I'm
off?
in South Miami.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's
Nothing but
our rock out
uh,
team for Florida.
uh-huh. It said Lubbock, Texas. Nothing to do down there. Yeah. That's all right. We'll figure it out.
Well, I am sorry to cut this short, but my computer's going to die, and I want to honor everyone's time and mine. So I want to just wrap it up for us tonight, and then we'll circle back next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Gigi, thank you for having me. Christina, everybody. I love this group. So
Thank you guys.
You,
yeah, I
Lulu.
appreciate you
Appreciate
We
you.
really.
appreciate you.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Lulu.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
You
anytime.
have his phone number. Go ahead and text him all out all night.
Oh
Fire.
boy.
Put on the
Oh Lord.
phone. Put 'em on.
He needs 1 hour sleep, guys.
Yeah. Get my beauty.
All right.
You
Good
Get your
guys.
night,
Bye,
guys.
that's gonna be
everyone.
your
Good
power
night.
nap.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.